It is now time.
Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
All right. Good morning, Sandy. How's it going?
Hey, good morning, Erin. How are you?
Fantastic. Blake is off sick, so it's just the girls.
Aw, hope he feels better soon.
You know what? It's just that cold. I feel like everyone's, like anyone that's kids who've gone back to school has it.
Yes.
So,
It happens.
it is what it is, right? But
Absolutely. So headlines today, Beacons Farms celebrates Recovery Month. So as you know, Beacons Farms is located in Frank Sound, and they are a farm that is all about using the facility as a treatment, I guess, / job opportunity for people who are in recovery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So September was Recovery Month. So anyone who's ever dealt with someone who has an addiction would probably know that. And so the farm allows, people who are recovering from alcohol and drug abuse, access to the farm, access to job. It's a bit of a halfway house. So they have a safe and secure place, supervised accommodation to be able to work in the agriculture field. And they're doing some really cool and neat stuff in terms of technology and agriculture.
That's awesome.
So, happy Recovery Month.
Yeah.
And the police are warning people to be really, really careful because apparently someone got robbed whilst trying to sell their vehicle.
I saw.
I'm trying to purchase the vehicle, I should say.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
So
at them late
this
at
is crazy. Yeah. So, they showed up after 7 o'clock, minutes to 8. First of all, do stuff in daylight hours. That would be the best advice I would give you.
Yeah.
In broad daylight in a very, very public place. But, they showed up to what they thought was purchase a vehicle in a restaurant in town on North Church Street, restaurant parking lot, and they were towards the back. And then all of a sudden, 2 armed men with masks jumped out and robbed the guy of his money. So, this is a total setup because come on,
Yeah.
it smells like a fish, looks like a fish, and swims like a fish. It's probably a fish. Mm-hmm. So the police are just asking people to be very, very vigilant. And you know what? Don't carry cash with you. I recently sold a car, and at no point in time did I expect the dude to show up with cash in hand. I'm like, no, you do an online transfer, you get a check. And once, that's confirmed, then we send you or give you the transfer papers. It's just absolutely crazy. But people just need to be safe. And then in another incident, remember we told you about a shooting that happened yesterday. I think we might have told you, but it might have been after we were off air with you. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, so this guy gets shot at multiple times. Our sources claimed 20 times. I don't know how they'd know that, but a lot of times, put it that way. He was shot at, and lucky for him, he only got shot in the foot. But the poor dog got killed, which I feel really, really perturbed about. Exactly. The innocent dog who's probably not doing anything, but minding his own business. Maybe he's a bad owner. I don't know. But, he's the one who ends up losing his life. So how horrible is that?
That's sad. So wait, did they find out who was shooting at him?
I don't think so. It's an ongoing investigation. So if you know anything that can assist the police, I mean, he probably has an idea.
I was going to say that guy has to know. Well, he doesn't just come up to you and just shoot at you for no reason and not rob you, I would say.
Yeah. So, Birch Tree Hill, West Bay. So I'm sure the police have an idea, and he probably has an idea as well. So congratulations to all the companies that participated in the SciFec Career Day. It was lauded a success by all. So various private companies, up to 40 private sector companies and government agencies participated in the Cayman Islands Further Education Center's Career Fair Day, which was held at the new John Gray High School Performing Arts Center last week, Friday. Cool. So students had an opportunity to learn about these various organizations as they competed, for work placement. So this was a good opportunity. Everything from law firms like HSM, Public Works, the Cayman Islands Health Services, Davenport, Property Management, KPMG, and DART all participated, amongst others.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, and let's mention really quick again, Hannah's Heroes, the big shave off is 5 p.m. at the Wicked Cricket Square.
Yes,
The
please go out and support.
St. Baldrick's does a lot of amazing work, and yeah, it will be a great event. All the money goes to St. Baldrick's for cancer research or for childhood cancer research.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, sounds good.
All right, have a wonderful
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, folks. Happy Friday to everyone. Let's get the cold hard truth kicked off.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, fever grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Good morning, folks, and happy Friday. Wow, this week certainly went by quickly. And guess what? It is the last Friday of the month because today is September the 30th, and there are only 30 days in September. So tomorrow is October the 1st. Oh, wow. October, November, December, and boom, the entire year. 2022, we can say goodbye to. But listen, 3 months is still a long time. And you never know what can happen in 3 months. So we're here to keep you up to date, informed, and connected. Yes, indeed. So happy Friday. Every Friday, every last Friday of the month, some of the schools do dress down day in honor of various charities. So that was us today, where kids get to wear, and I know a lot of companies do it as well. You get to wear whatever you want on a dress down day. Well, sort of within reason. And so, boy, you really appreciate uniforms. You appreciate having very little choices. There's still choices within the uniform spectrum, but it's not quite as many. So, yes, we had to choose something to wear today for dress down day. How fun is that? So good morning to everyone. Miss Vernita has it locked. She says, thank you, Jesus. Please continue to bless us so we can be a blessing to others. Good morning to Miss June. I actually need to hopefully get on the road today. I've got an event at 11:30. The Cayman Islands Heart Fund is having their, I think it's an appreciation dinner. So I've been invited to that, and I would like to be able to go to that to support them. And, so I'm going to be doing that. And that's going to take a couple hours out of my day, but I've got a couple sort of community things that I want to do. So thank you so much to the people who I still have to pick up one more donation, who are donating this week, I should say. We're working on trying to get some gift cards together for people who are in need for the local grocery stores. So I'm working on collecting a few donations, and then I'm going to be donating to that effort as well. And, we try to help as many people who are in need, and I keep stressing this, please don't take advantage of a situation just because you can. And this isn't the sort of thing where I would encourage you to reach out to me every single month, because you need again. Unfortunately, we're not really in a position to keep you long-term. These are short-term, opportunities for people to be able to assist with feeding their families. Hopefully, as we come into the cooler months, the CUC bill will start to abate itself. We shared a bill yesterday from someone. Everybody's like, well, why is the bill $3,000? And it's one of those things where obviously the person hasn't paid the bill in a while. I've never had a $3,000 bill with CUC, most certainly, because they would disconnect me way before it got there. Trust me, they seem to give some of y'all a little bit of leeway that others are not necessarily getting. And, I think it's because CUC feels sorry for y'all when you go in with your hard luck stories, but you've got to be making an effort to pay towards it. Even if it's $50 here and there, I think once these companies see that you're trying, they will assist you as much as they can. But ultimately, they are not running a nonprofit organization. So you got to pay. You got to pay to play, as we say. Which means that in order to use that electricity, it doesn't come for free. you've got to pay for it. And once again, to be fair to CUC, the largest part of your CUC bill is actually the fuel factor. That's majority of what you're paying for, at least 50% or more of your bill. So Keyman Detailing, good morning. Good morning, Marshall. June is here saying happy Friday. Diamond Princess got it locked. We have Sophia says, good morning, Miss Sandra and Keyman TGIF. Have a safe weekend. We're hoping so. I continue to receive complaints about traffic here, there, and everywhere. And not just traffic, but lack of traffic management. So the RCIPS seems to be short-staffed in the traffic department. I'm a little bit surprised by this because somebody was saying, oh, they need more resources. And I'm like, aren't they one of the most resource-rich police institutions in the region for sure? So why is the traffic department, especially given how many traffic accidents we have, why is the traffic department not better staffed? They don't have enough staff to keep people, listen to this, at that junction by, Bobby Thompson Way and Smith Road, where the light is out. And the part is not going to be coming anytime soon from what my sources have revealed. So, yeah. So somehow I've managed to put down the wrong number. Somebody just pointed this out to me. It's 936-2626, 936 Bobo. So today is Mailbag Friday. I think last night I was super tired when I was scheduling my event. And so it looks like I got it wrong. Oh my gosh, what a mess. So I'll fix that later. All right. Well, actually, I see where I can fix it now. 936. Hold on. Facebook is always changing stuff, so sometimes I'm not sure how to even change something, but I think I've just figured it out. So I click on next. Facebook Live. Okay. I believe it's updated now. Boom, just like that. Sometimes they do make it very, very challenging to update stuff. But anyway, so thank you, El Ray, for pointing that out to me. I appreciate it. Somehow I got the completely wrong number. But I do want you to call in 936-2626. So yes, so the traffic situation is really, really frustrating. And I think the traffic department needs to reconsider hiring some more people. Because listen, you should be able to man a traffic light, if not 24/7, at least until 12 o'clock at night. And then you're back at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Because that location is so accident prone, it's not even funny. It's ridiculous. I told you all yesterday to avoid it, but it is a little bit difficult to avoid because, yesterday I had to go run an errand. And next thing I know, just driving out of habit as well, I am at that intersection. I was like, oh, darn it. I was trying to avoid this intersection today, but I was just going Smith Road. So I have a giveaway in any event. I'm not technically at the light. So, but yeah, you got to still be careful because all these other cars are coming at you that aren't paying attention that it's now a four-way. Officers are out there this morning, but they don't stay for very long. We also had complaints that officers were sitting in their cars, and that's not the definition of directing traffic. So a few people, when we posted it yesterday on Facebook, a few people made their position very much known, and they said that in their opinion, the police were lying about having a presence there, and because they don't consider sitting in your car having a presence. And I thought, you do have a point, so kind of a little bit crazy, but there you have it. They were sitting in their cars doing only God knows what. So people are getting very, very frustrated. I think it's going to be probably at least another week beforehand. So this person said, hey, Sandy, do you know why the police are not assisting at the lights at the Rocket? They meant to say cricket pitch. What a nightmare. And then we said, well, they're claiming only during peak hours. And so this person responded and said, well, There was no one there during the school pickup, which I would consider a peak hour. Oh well, which I would as well. I mean, that is pretty peak if you ask me. Not just 5 o'clock traffic, right? Pickup time, because all the schools are on Walker's Road, Smith Road area, is a massive time. And again, one person said, well, I can say early on Tuesday, there were 2 cars parked on the opposite sides of the lights with the officers sitting in them enjoying the AC. I guess they were waiting for an accident so that they could assist. Yikes. So that was one commentator. And another one shared, hold on, let me just pull this back up. Another person shared, the police are simply not there. Don't let them use you to spread their lies. It was I just passed there, sorry, just minutes to 4 p.m. and it was every man for himself to get through that intersection. And believe me, every man for himself at that intersection is not a good idea. That intersection is crazy on a good day with working lights. So another person made the observation that they really need to be there from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. I almost got hit twice now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when this happens, is the junction supposed to be used as a 4-way stop? And it is supposed to be used as a 4-way stop, but I think that most people either don't know that or they don't really know how a 4-way stop works. And somebody else said that they were not there when she left work at 5:30 and was at the junction at about 5:40. So where are they? When an accident happens there, then we'll hear and see them coming after the fact. So a lot of people not happy that there's zero control in place as it relates to the RCIPS traffic division. And, if they can't help with a traffic light that is out, that has been fried. And by the way, yesterday, I think the last call of the program said, well, why don't they just pull parts from another box? And of course, if that's possible, that would be a good idea. But what we understand the position to be is that the entire thing is pretty much fried. So there is no way for them to do that. They need to order like the entire box, essentially. And, it is what it is. So the police say that they don't have the manpower. We're wondering, really? What are we paying for? Millions of dollars, and the traffic department is not properly staffed. At one point it used to be, so I don't know what happened. But I've been told from the perspective of the NRA, who's responsible for the box, that it's not as easy as just changing out parts, as the whole signal box was fried. So apparently they got to order multiple parts and probably like a whole kit and whatever. So when is it coming? I'm not sure. They got to order it. Let me see if I can get an estimated time. But yes, they have to order it from Orlando, and then it has to be shipped, and it has to arrive through customs, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how big the box is. It probably has to maybe go on a boat. I don't know if it can come on the plane. I don't know if somebody can run to Orlando. Not literally run, but, get on a plane and go to Orlando. And if that would help. I don't know. Don't know any of those things. I just know that it's going to take a lot longer than anybody anticipates. And so I would dare say, in that space of time, you're definitely going to have a few accidents happening. So be careful. If you can't avoid the location, believe me, do your best. Like I said, I did my best yesterday and I still had to use it. It's a mean thoroughway, right? It is definitely a mean intersection here in the Cayman Islands. So it is very, very difficult to work around. I was going to public health. Your kids have to fill out these public health cards. Like you have to go to the doctor and get a checkup. And when I went to do mine with the physician, because then you have to give it to your schools, she said, oh, this is something, because literally we had done our annual checkup, like, I think maybe a month before, if that. And so we had to go back in again. Thankfully, Dr. Sarah did not charge us. She's like, no, you were literally just here. I'm just going to fill out this paperwork. And she had to go through a number of questions. But She'd done all the checks, the eye exam, the whatever. And she said, honestly, this is one of those things that is so unique to Cayman because nowhere else does this. And she's kind of like, they create paperwork for us that probably isn't necessary. So you get this little card, and Public Works then get a file on the child that I guess, I don't know if it becomes part of their hospital file. Like, I don't really understand how it works, but the doctor's opinion was just like, oh, this is a waste of paper. And it's something that only Cayman does to create work for people. And I was just like, okay. So we did it because the school requires it, because I think public health requires it. So I had to go there. They're in Smith Road now on the second floor. So I had to go and drop that off. And yeah. So I was like, this is what's required. And I'm here to do what's required. Sometimes things don't make sense to us, but if the system says this is what you need to do, Alice, what do you think? Happy Friday. Morning, Andy. That's what you do. Maybe there's some logic in it that the doctor just doesn't get. I don't know. I'm just like, listen, the school says I need it, and I'm just fulfilling the request. So I got the little blue card. I think it was bluish green, and I turned it in as quickly as possible so I didn't lose it. Mitzi, Amira, good morning. Good morning to Ms. Dean. Aliano is here. Good morning to the beautiful Brenda Archer. Wee Wee's got it locked. Robert, how are you? Miss Iva says, good morning, Sandy. Please all be safe on the road over the weekend. Hey, Alex, how you doing? Happy Friday. Very, very good. So the other spot that is causing people angst when it comes to traffic is if you live in the Lookout Garden area, you will know that traffic continues to be an issue. So I have this woman who sends me pictures all the time. She says this keeps happening right in front of Boddentown Primary School. There's no traffic management. People are making their own lanes and everything, and they just do whatever they want. And so literally it takes them, this is what she said to me this morning, 35 minutes to get to Shamrock, which is the main road. And she just lives like right at Lookout Garden. That's like a 3-minute drive. That is not a 35-minute drive. But in the morning, it becomes a 35-minute drive because of people's shenanigans. She says children nor adults can barely get across the crosswalk there because people heading east are flying through the school zone. No, this is not good. She goes on to say, this is one of the many mornings, this morning and every morning on Anton Bodden bypass, of a person driving on the wrong side of the road to try to pass everyone, patiently waiting. The school bus was coming out from the side road, and this lady was in the wrong lane, then got behind and drove on the grass by the fence at Boddentown Primary, narrowly missing the light pole. People and children walk on that side of the road. And so, she's got some footage here of some of what's going on. My goodness. This is absolutely crazy. So what is the solution here? We'll certainly put up this video because people seem to have a knack for being publicly embarrassed, especially on CMR. And all of a sudden, they're able to get their act together once we post up their vehicles, breaking laws with the license plate. But I think for a long-term solution, there has to be, again, some traffic management. The police needs to be there because that will deter people from trying to break these laws. I'm surprised. Like school in Cayman, by the time I left the Cayman Islands, I was too young to really remember a whole lot of stuff. Funny enough, just yesterday, my daughter was saying to me, do you remember when you were in school? Because, kids, when they're 5 and 6, they feel like you're 100 years old. They really do feel like you're super old. And so they ask you certain questions that are so funny. And I was like, yeah, I remember when I was, because she said, I wish that you were a kid so that you could come to school with me during the day. And I said, aw, and she's like, that way I wouldn't miss you so much. She's so sweet. And I said, yeah, well, that's not going to happen. But she's like, yeah, if you were a kid, then you could come to school with me. And then she got another brilliant idea, since I can't be a kid again, don't we wish? She said, well, why don't you come and teach at my school or work at my school? Why can't you be a teacher? And I said, well, I kind of already have a job, so I don't need another job. And, yeah, it's not that easy being a teacher, honey, Jill. That job isn't for everybody. And so then she's like, well, do you remember when you were at school? And I said, yes, I remember going to Georgetown Primary, sort of. But because I left when I was so young, I don't have a lot of memories of Georgetown Primary, but I do have a lot of memories of going to school in the States. And one thing I knew, especially for the younger elementary schools and middle schools, every single school had a like a safety person at the crosswalk, making sure the kids were getting off the bus safely. They were able to traverse, the bus and the crosswalk and whatever. So I find it strange that in the Cayman Islands, we don't have traffic. And it wasn't, a lot of them weren't necessarily police officers. Sometimes they were like a little granny who had nothing else to do in the mornings, but she was volunteering her time as, I forget what their official title is. Crosswalk person. No, that can't be it. It was something, but they were there. And then when you got older, you could help as a student. So you could become like a mini person, a mini crosswalk. Help me out with the correct names. I can't remember what the name is. But, you could volunteer to help out along with an adult. Why don't we not have that here? Why is it so difficult to find people to man these crosswalks? Cayman has a relatively small population. We only have so many schools. The majority of them are in Walker's Road. I think that at every school on Walker's Road, how many schools are there? There's prep, there's Catholic, there's the government, like SciFec, and then John Gray around the corner. That's 4 major schools. And then you have some smaller ones like the toddler ones, Montessori's and stuff are kind of spread out, right? But if you had 4 or 5 officers manning Walker's Road, then you had Clifton Hunter. So you need one at Clifton Hunter. Where else is there? Red Bay Primary, Bodden Town, and who else is there at Bodden Town? Oh, West Bay. So we should have one in West Bay as well. So maybe that's like 9. So maybe 10 or 12, up to 15, right? And like I said, they don't have to be, you can do auxiliary officers. You could train people who were, able to do that job. Am I talking crazy this morning? Sharm says they're called lollipop ladies in Great Britain. Yeah, I think the Americans call them something else. Crossing guards. There we go, Everton. I think that's probably the right word. But I don't, to me, this could be easily fixed. Cross guards. Yes, crossing guards, cross guard. Yeah. Why don't we do this? Our children, for God's sake, need a little bit of protection whilst they're on the road. So I find nothing is a priority here until something happens, right? We live in a community that is so anti-proactive. We will care about it once a child gets licked down at a crosswalk. And then all of a sudden, everybody's up in arms. Somebody's going to sue government for negligence and for not doing this, that, and the next thing. And, now a child is either injured or dead and somebody's heading to jail. And then we think, oh, yes, well, let's find a solution for safety for our children in the morning. It's like, give me a break. There are people who would volunteer to do that job. They're, like I said, elderly people who might not have a whole lot to do that wouldn't mind doing it. Nat B says Windsor Park is also experiencing high volume traffic and speed by people using there as a bypass between Smith Road, Outpost Road, and Walker's Road. It should not be taking 15 plus minutes to get to Smith Road. And of course, this is what happens a lot is people are using these communities as cut-throughs. And it's very, very frustrating for people who have to deal with this. So one person says sooner or later, road rage is going to be a thing in Cayman. It already is, unfortunately. I mean, I don't think it's gotten to epic proportions yet, but it is definitely something that people concern themselves with. And you have to be mindful of. And you can't just leave it up to the citizens to always do the right thing, because as we can see, even based on this driver this morning, Some people are just not capable. They don't care. They just don't think of the impact of their actions. And so they do whatever they want. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we lived in a world where people thought about other people on the roadways? Because then if you were thinking about other people, there's certain maneuvers that, trust me, you would not be making, right? Because you know that you're potentially going to injure someone. So we put that person up as Jackass of the Day. Congratulations on your recognition, your accolade. It's not something you should be proud of. Nobody should really try to be a Jackass of the Day. But some of you seem to not be capable of helping yourselves. So if the cap fits, then wear it. You know what is so funny? When we put people up, then they come up with all sorts of fanciful excuses as to why we should take them down. There was a lady, listen to this situation, and I'm going to talk about safety here in a minute, because consumer safety is so incredibly important. I think sometimes in Cayman, we take for granted that we do live in a relatively safe place. And so people don't always think that, oh, someone is going to take advantage of me. And you just make decisions that probably in other places you wouldn't do, but you think, oh, no, that's not going to happen in the Cayman Islands. Well, guess what? It's happening here, folks. So, Miss Amelia, happy Friday, honey chow. Eddie says a complete lack of proper priority as there's no proper accountability. And Eddie goes on to say, morning, here's my take. How is it that there's no placement units and stock for traffic light during hurricane season, replacement units? Yet the NRA spends funds painting cycling lanes and installing crosswalk signs. Well, I wish I could answer that for you, but I do not have an answer. All I can do is ask the NRA, because I must admit that seems like a very logical question. Why don't we have replacement units? I mean, the light technology isn't going to change once it's installed, right? And so it's there for a minute. So I would think that you should keep one or two complete sets or boxes on hand, because stuff happens, especially during hurricane season. I don't know what to tell you, except you're making too much sense there, Eddie. Well, they don't have it. That is unfortunate, but we'll ask them the question. So buenos dias to Miss Alba. Miss Jill says, happy Friday. Did you do a facial? You're looking quite fresh. No, it's my filter, which it's supposed to be the same every day, but some people think some days look different. What it does is, I'll tell you about this filter. I put on lipstick, and that's the only thing that I have to do. So it does smooth out the skin, and it gives me eyelashes, which looks like I'm wearing mascara, but I'm actually not. Like, I'm wearing no makeup whatsoever, but the filter makes me look like I have a little bit of blush, and it just smooths everything out. The only thing I put on is the lips, because it doesn't do anything to lips. So thank modern technology for that, Jill. I wish I could tell you that I've even had a facial in recent times, but I haven't. Every morning, the routine is the same: wash and moisturize. And half the time I forget to moisturize until later in the day. But I do have my little, I was telling you guys about those aloe tablets that I have. I got a new set in the other day for my Amazon order. And I did, I promised Miss Moya one, and I don't know if she's been using it yet, but she's got her stash as well. So yeah, moisturizing is just important, folks. People of color have to remember moisturizing, UV protection. Don't go out in the sun overly, like too much. I'm always surprised at how people of color think they can't get cancer. I'm like, yes, you can. And you know, the sad part is, when a person of color gets cancer, you're more likely to die from it, because by the time the signs are there, because of your dark pigmentation and melatonin, not melatonin. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Melatonin? Serotonin. No, melatonin. No, serotonin. What's your skin again? What's the pigmentation in your skin? That's not the right tonin. Whatever. The pigmentation in your skin. By the time you notice it, it shows up like on the hands and feet and stuff. Remember, this is what happened to Bob Marley. By the time you notice the discoloration, whatever, the cancer is at such an advanced stage, folks, that you are going to have a serious problem. And so, it's important to not, I know a person, she was probably like maybe my complexion or a little bit lighter. I'm the worst with, when I first came to the Cayman Islands, my friends would ask me to describe somebody. Well, what does that person look like? Are they this color or that? Like, but they're doing it in shades of color. And can you believe that I don't see shades of color? Like, I thought it was the most peculiar thing. I'm like, what do you mean light skin? What's light skin? What's dark skin? How dark is dark skin? Like, what shit? Like, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because in the United States of America, you have two options. You're black or white. And that's pretty much it. And even when you think you're white, you're actually not white because you got 1 ounce of Negro blood, so that makes you black. So I couldn't process for the longest time these distinctions in color. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Remember that guy during COVID, during the lockdown, when we caught him fighting over a phone, who's beating somebody up in West Bay? He sent me a voice note that I will forever remember because it was so funny. He's like, you put up that picture, that video of me fighting somebody. I want you to take that down right now with my high yellow behind. I was like, high yellow. What exactly is high yellow? What color is that on the color spectrum? I'm like, high yellow? So you got pink, you got yellow, you got orange, like people are all these colors? No, honey child, you're black. You're not high yellow, you're just black. Anyway, I digress. But it was so funny. People are like shades of color. I don't see shades of color, honestly. You're black, you're black, you're black, you're black, you're black. Okay. But yes, there was this lady who used to work with me. She was an HR manager back in the day. And she spent so much time in the sun. Like when I first met her, her skin was so leathery, right? Of Caymanian descent. She didn't grow up here. I think she grew up in the States. But she would literally put on baby oil and go in the sun to get as dark as she possibly can. She's already a black person, but maybe she was like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm horrible with shades. So maybe she was my complexion a little bit, but she wanted to be dark brown, I guess, burnt, crisp. And she would not put on sunscreen. She'd put on baby oil to go out there and fry her skin. And I was just like, what the hell? Who does that? I'm like, girl, you're going to get cancer. Oh, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen, but there you go. Damien says, hopefully the NRA will order a few spare parts. Yeah, if they can get them now. Michael says, Orlando at this time. Good luck with that. Have y'all been seeing the pictures post this storm? Oh my God, it's crazy. Scott agrees that you think that they would have spare parts on island for these things. Good morning, Brother Hero Blair. Says, all is well that ends well. Orlando's moving slowly back to normal. Praying for the Carolinas. So listen to Hurricane Ian is not done yet. Wow. Apparently, let me bring up my little weather stuff here. But Hurricane Ian is headed for the Carolinas as a hurricane storm, as a hurricane again. Peace and peace. Ian is the gift that keeps on giving. Someone said yesterday, which I thought was a little bit funny. They're like, this storm has confirmed what I knew, that Ian is the son of Ivan. And I was like, honey child, yes, Ian is coming with a vengeance. Decimated so many parts of the U.S. It's really, really sad to see the aftermath. Fort Myers Beach, for example. What beach is the question? That is just crazy. So FEMA is offering assistance. You're getting a lot of these stories now about what happened as a result of the storm. Listen, those of us who were here during Ivan, these pictures and these stories, to some extent, bring back a degree of, recognition because we've been through this situation. Really, really quite unfortunate. Cars piled up on each other. One man got killed because during the storm, he was going out to drain the pool. It's like, dude, 70-something-year-old man. No. You don't do that during a storm. It's too late. If the pool is going to overflow and the storm surge is coming, you just stay indoors. There's another one where someone went and rescued a nurse because they needed help. I mean, there's just so many heroic stories, and then there's going to be a lot of tragic stories and stuff as well. They're still doing rescues in Sanibel Island. Theme parks are being closed, of course. Disney trying to make some money, but they better remain closed. Look at that car. Cars piled up on top of each other. Boats piled up on top of each other. I can't believe there are people actually trying to ride this out in a boat. Look at this. Are you kidding me? I told y'all before, don't see the sheriff's office here trying to grab people off of boats. You don't want to be out in the water during a hurricane like this. It's just unbelievable. This looks like someone might be on a stretcher. There are people who died, and this is like the old folks home. There were people who actually died in the old folks home and stuff as well. So they have no idea. Charlotte County is off the grid. They're trying to install portable cell phone towers so that people can have access to phones. So at this point, Sanibel Causeway completely destroyed. One of the causeways, I think that was the one, collapsed after the storm. So unfortunately, at this point, we will have no idea what the true death toll is. Monetarily, property into the billions of dollars easily. And it will take years, not months, but years for this portion of Florida to recover. You know, here's FEMA. They're having a live, looks like a live press conference right now. But here's another rescue helicopter trying to get this. It looks like a kid. Nope, that's an adult actually. You know, up out of, I don't know where they were, but in a basket to take them away. The U.S. Coast Guard. Here's another lady trying to rescue people out of flood waters and flood areas that it's going to be very difficult for them to get out of. And, you know, Florida has a lot of senior citizens, over 2 million people still without power. This is just a devastating situation for them. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the situation. Miss Dean says, love the top that you're wearing. Thank you, Miss Dean. I appreciate it. Miss Reba's here with us. So hopefully the NRA will order some new parts. I think that that's a good idea. Everton says sometimes if the crossing guard is not available, then they use a police officer or someone from the school, like a teacher or somebody, but there's always someone out there to ensure that the kids cross the road safely. Yes, but not in the Cayman Islands, honey child. I do not know why we don't have crossing guards. I mean, it is just unbelievable. Huh. So crazy. Look at this picture, by the way, of, I don't know, this is a storm surge that came in. It's just so shocking what water can do. They have 42,000 linemen trying to restore power. 42,000 to over 2 million people. My God. And naturally, there will be things that will be hampering them as well. Tampa International Airport reopens. But, you know, folks, Lee County is still off the grid as well. Absolutely devastating. So I would suggest that, you know, and look at this, North Carolina has over 10,000 people without power, South Carolina. So it's not just Florida. It's affecting like the whole region there. Wow. My God, what a mess. Unbelievable. So yes, I mean, cross guards are absolutely necessary. LaShawn says, my high school son almost got hit by a public bus. Imagine that, while crossing the road for the school bus. Oh, wow. Maria says there's a saying that it takes a village to raise one child. My husband is from Boddentown. His stories are wonderful and scary. I know that children are incredibly resilient, but my gosh, let us, you know, not try to kill them off. We have to give them a fighting chance, really. So, yeah. Miss Romelia says that, oh, yes, we can't seem to get help from the police with this. I guess it's because WP isn't an upscale community. It's horrible. Oh, WP being Windsor Park. Well, clearly, Ms. Vermillion has nothing to do with Windsor Park, because I've just told you that even in Lookout Garden and Bodden Town, they're having the exact same issue. If it was an upscale community, they just put up a fence and lock you out so that you cannot come through. That would be their solution, as the Webster's Estates community has done. And at some level, you cannot blame the residents of Webster's Estates. Maybe Windsor Park needs to put up some gates too and block people, but then they'll say that that's a public road, and so you can't do it. When the other road there, Webster's Estate, is a private community. Speaking of Webster's Estate, this year they do have their trick-or-treating on. So if you've got kids, they had to cancel it because of COVID and so on. If you do have kids who enjoy trick-or-treating in a safe area, and they do get a police escort that stands outside their gates during trick-or-treating Halloween night. And they give out good candy, and the homes, like the residents and entire community, kind of get into it. Most of them decorate and they put up stuff, and they, have candy handing out to the kids and stuff. And it's just a great way for children to be able to walk around safely. One or two people even have parties, and they be inviting you in. Come on in, join the family for a Halloween party. I'm like, okay. That's the kind of thing that's like only in the Cayman Islands, right? So yes, it's good to see that type of thing. But they will be having it open. The gates will open for Windsor Park for Webster's Estates for Halloween, for trick-or-treating. So get your trick-or-treating uniforms or costumes or whatever you call them in order. So Sonia says, hurry up. Pray that they hurry up and fix that traffic light. Yes, we are all hoping they can get the parts quickly. Again, Debbie asking the same question. Should we not have backup supplies? Lord, take the wheel. In this case, I think the Lord might have to take the entire bus, not just the wheel. He might have to take the whole caravan. So Eddie says, by crosswalk signs, I mean the vertical ones on the actual crosswalk in the middle of the road. The vertical ones in the actual crosswalk in the middle of the road. These are portable signs. I might need a visual, Eddie. Help me out here. So Vernita says, I watched Bruce Golding say that why they have so many accidents is because most people buy their license and some can't read. Do you need to know how to read to know how to drive safely? I mean, most signs are done in a way where technically you don't have to know how to read at all. You just need to know what the road sign means. So you know what a give way sign looks like. It's a symbol. So road signs are not, you don't have to be a scholar to be able to read a road sign. They're pretty much all symbols as far as I know. So road safety, I imagine you could not read much at all, or even a lick, or maybe not even understand English, but you should be able to know what road signs are. Good morning, Selena. Barbara says that they're able-bodied people receiving government assistance while looking for work. Could be an option if they have no young children at home. Well, thank you, folks. It's melatonin. No, melanin, not melatonin. That's why I was getting confused. Melatonin is a sleep aid one, and I was talking about the melanin in your skin. Close enough, but not the same word, none at all. But yes, Barbara, we suggested this months ago, and in fact, it's one of the things, I don't know if they had it in the works already, but the NAU revised law, whatever they're calling it, Poor People Assistance is what it's called now, but I think they're going to change the name. The revision includes making these people get up and do volunteer work if they don't have a job, which I think is a wonderful idea. Maybe you have not been able to get a job, but you can certainly go out there and volunteer, help clean up your community, help with the cross guards and so on. There's a lot that you could be doing, but then the difficulty will always be that these people tend to have children. What percentage of people you think are NAU that don't have children? I'm willing to bet not very many. Because normally, if you don't have chicken or child, as they say, you can normally fend for yourself. But Lord Jesus, when you have a child in the mix, the child has got to eat, the child has got to sleep somewhere safe. And unfortunately, as I said before, people don't know about birth control and how to use it. and that it's even free here in the Cayman Islands, which I didn't know until recently. And so, they're making decisions and they're getting pregnant over and over again. And, I'm a firm believer that you got to get that under control, honey child. Don't have more children than you can afford. If you can only afford one or you can barely afford one, then stop at one. And I don't care what man comes and gives you some story, because Caribbean men are so disgusting. Oh, I want a child with you because I love you. I'm like, really now? We have a lady who reached out to us. Oh my God, this is such a hard luck story. That she was dating some prison officer that hoodwinked her. Was in a relationship with this man for years. Here, didn't know that he was a married man. Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. Had no clue that officer was a married man. And of course, he's like taking her everywhere. Now, you can hear some foolishness in the Cayman Islands. Oh my God. Hanging out with going to parties at work, taking her to other parties. She had no reason to suspect that the man was married. He hid the wife and that relationship. Of course, maybe I shouldn't say of course. Any guesses? How about a gas voucher? This is going to be so easy, but I will give you a gas voucher this morning for anybody who could guess where this man is from. But you got to call in. No online guesses. I'm going to force y'all to work a little bit for it. Call in and you can get yourself a $25 gas voucher. Where do you think this man is from? I'm trying to find the lady's messages because, oh my God, it's so crazy. Where do you think he's from? So eventually she finds out that he has a wife and children, I believe. Yes, honey child. Let's see which smart person this is going to be this morning. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
What would be your guess?
Jamaica.
Yes, honey child. He's from Jamrock. It's almost a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, right.
Lord have mercy.
To figure that out.
I know. WhatsApp me and you'll get a gift certificate. We got one more caller who's going to try as well. Good morning, caller. I'll do 2 gift certificates this morning. Go ahead. Where do you think the person's from?
Jamaica.
Yes, honey chill. Woo! Y'all gonna say Sandy's so salty, but it's the truth. Yes,
It's the truth. Lord
Jamaican
forgive
men
me.
been
I've been
scamming us a
messing
long time. Thank God I found one of the few good ones. But yes, he's from Jamaica, work in prison and lying to this poor woman. WhatsApp me and I'll get you a gift card for some free gas.
Thank you. On number?
Yes, please. That's fine.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find the poor woman's messages, right? But yes, honey child. Okay, so listen. She called me with this whole story. Oh my God, it's such a sad story because, like I said, once children are involved, of course your heart goes out to them. So he doesn't tell her about the wife. And I guess the wife didn't know about her either. I don't know. So anyway, at one point she gets pregnant. And then with the first child, she actually ends up losing the child. Well, honey child, he was there same way, pretending like he's a free agent, like he has no other responsibilities. Child, let me start sipping on my tea. Lord Jesus. Some of y'all men are just absolutely disgusting. So, yeah, he not gonna worries. And then she gets pregnant again. Of course, he's like, oh, yes, I want to have a child with you and all this kind of stuff until you actually get pregnant. And then he starts ghosting the girl. You have to throw this baby away. I don't want a child. I can't have a child. I'm pregnant. I'm married. She was like, what? 2 years later, you're married? This dude even moved her into the neighborhood to be closer to his workplace at the prison so he could have easy and free access. You men are so nasty. And then here comes an innocent child in the mix. And all of a sudden, you want to make this grand announcement that you have a wife. Really? Well, you certainly haven't been acting like you had a wife all this time, dear sir. I'm trying to find her messages, child, because she sent me so many messages. I felt so sorry for her. Now he doesn't want to pay no child support. Here we go again, right? So I guess because he's married to Caymanian, poor her. I feel sorry for the wife too. Now this is a situation where I'm trying to see if I can find her messages. So now this is a situation where he is not going to want to support his child. So the Caymanian wife, who works for government as well, here the mix-up story, tells him, no, you're going to have to pay some child support. So now they're trying to keep it out of the court system, you see, because of course, if he doesn't admit to anything and he doesn't admit that this child is his and you don't get that in writing, he can do whatever he wants. But here's what he wants to pay. He wants to pay $300 for 2 months for a baby in the Cayman Islands. Hello, $200 can't buy you no diapers. I can't even buy you formula. And the little child, I think the woman has another child in Jamaica that has some special needs or whatever. So, whatever little money she's working can hardly pay the bills. Not hardly, can't pay the bills. And this no good prison officer, I got so name him. You don't worry about that. I got all the WhatsApp messages, honey child, of him going on like he's a free agent. But I want this woman to come on the story and tell her come on the show and tell her story, because y'all will not believe it. Here's what he said. No good man says, I'll help out monthly, but don't put the child in my name. Really, sir? How disgusting can you be? I have a question for you, sir, officer, prison officer. You lay down with this woman how many times for 2 years before you finally got this girl pregnant? Now you don't want this child to be in your name? You have got to be kidding me. Everton says the blame goes both ways. If you're dating a dude, he cannot take you to his house or wherever he lives, or you only can receive phone calls at certain times and there's a problem. Well, apparently she said that there was never any indication that the man was pregnant because I don't know what house he was taking her to, but I don't know. This is the details that we need from her. But he ran a good show for a couple of years. So he claims that he don't want to put the child in his name. Then this is what he says. Whatever I can do, whatever you can do. No, sir. This isn't a volunteer situation of whatever you can do. This is a situation, dear sir, of you better do what you have to do by law. Women, don't be stupid, okay? First of all, check somebody out thoroughly. Cayman is relatively small. You ask questions before you go and get pregnant by a man. I agree with Everton on that, okay? Yes, you think you know somebody for 2 years, but, for 2 years, you better be living with me so I can kind of really figure out what's going on here, because you can't trust these men. Like I said, they're no good. So here he is, tasting the cookie, drinking the milk, the whole shebang, gets this girl pregnant, and then talking about he don't want a baby in his name, and he's going to help out as though this is a volunteer. Oh, I'll help out whenever I can. Morning, caller. Uh-oh.
Hello, morning.
How's your radio working, honey chow?
Morning.
I haven't heard from you, so I was wondering if you could hear the show.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, my technical skills, they're noticed. Listen, man. I am a woman. I'm a mother. I had my own Cayman child. But that child is called Charlene's child. Naming this and naming that. Listen, man, if you make that dog mistake around me, you don't have a child. I'll march down to that courthouse and judge. I don't remember which one it was for. If it's from I can't remember. It was many.
But
It was
listen,
many.
listen
So,
to me though,
then
right?
that child is my child.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
listen,
baby.
both parents contributed to the child. So I hear what you're saying, and I feel the sentiment that's coming with that. But the father has a legal obligation. This is one of the reasons now why so many of these single mothers are out there begging for help to pay your CUC bill, begging for help for daycare, begging for help to feed their children, because they have had children with men that are no good.
Well, be foolish too.
Well, I agree 1,000%. Yes.
You must understand that that's your carrying this child
I
for
agree.
9 months.
I agree.
But what too much
You
epidural
listen,
nowadays?
you're carrying the child for 20 plus years because you can't get rid of that child no matter what. That's going to be your obligation. So I completely agree that women need to do better, but the men, we can't give them a pass either because they're enjoying the sex just like everybody else. So they're going to lay down with a woman, and guess what? You have certain responsibilities. Legally, you have certain responsibilities.
The woman gets up and she is a mother. That's what she is. A father can walk away at any time.
But you know what the sad thing is?
We have good men in this community.
Yeah.
Good men around the world. It's a human condition. I don't think a lot of men, the percentage might not be real high, but you have decent men. But at all times, that baby is attached to you, or it should be emotionally. If nothing else, you are attached to your child. How you gonna sit down there and be having baby after baby after baby and talking foolishness, and you're a grown person? When you get pregnant, you know that is your baby. I'm not pregnant. A nice man says, we're pregnant. In reality, you're the only one that's pregnant. You're the one with stretch marks. I let the man show you the stretch mark for the pregnancy. That's your child.
Well, my dear.
Anyway, that might be the day, and my technology skill. Sorry. Bye.
All right, my dear. So listen, the man not no good is the bottom line, unfortunately. And so he's sending her messages talking about he will help out where he can. Wow. Let's make you hero of the year. Whatever I can do. And anything you want me to do, please let me know. I will do until the baby is born. After which I will do a DNA test. Here's the audacity, this one. And that will decide the future if I am still. And so this is what the woman said. I have all the messages, child. But before that, there's part of the conversation says, just take care of your child how you can so that no papers will serve. That is not in my intention to summon you. It's blood of your blood, is what she was saying to him. And that I have had no one else but you. So now he gonna try and play the card like, oh, I don't know who this baby could be for. So she said, I wasted time with you. Believe you cared about me. Just how all you want was fun. To hate me is more. I can understand that. But for you to hate your own seed that is growing within me is wicked and heartless. You would allow me to murder this child because he wanted her to have an abortion. Hear him now. Ooh, honey child, we need to get his name. You allow me to murder this child knowing what I have been through, because she lost one already for him, and he was there the whole time during that situation, taking her hospital and everything, still pretending that he was single. But now I see clearly that you wanted both of us dead, that you can live happily ever after. Now feel free to move on to your next victim. As for the battle is already in God's hands, and his words declare a man. I don't know, the rest of that got cut off. But yes, he'd given her the morning after pill, actually, and it didn't work. The child is still here. And evidently it actually made her sick. And she had to go and have an emergency situation because, I think she had some internal bleeding or whatever. So yeah, he was all about that life. So what do you say? I want to be there for you this time, baby. Hear him now. His wife needs to see some of these messages. Yes, I know you will cry over my body, or better yet, repatriate this body. The child within me done. No none of us wrong this child, did not come in your marriage. I did so, I will do away with the problem, which is me. So then he replies and he says, just chill. Men are so, hear what he's saying now. This is what you call gaslighting your victim, right? Here's what he tells her. Just chill. Why do you hate me so much? This is pure drama. We could be making a movie out of this. Why do you hate me so much? No, I got to do it in the best Jamaican voice. How would a Jamaican say just chill? I need a Jamaican narrator. Just chill. Why you hate me so much? That's horrible. All me for want is to start fresh. Start fresh? Sir, you are married. Officer, you're married. Your Caymanian wife working her low government office job. You are married. How can you start fresh? Start fresh with who? Oh, you abort a child, then you can start fresh and have another one? What a donkey. Then he says, why are you giving me all this? We never used to be like this. We were a team. We were a team. Sir, how can you be a team with a woman when you have a wife and children? Like, I believe they have children. I need to double check. Anyway, seriously, you know these men not got no sense. You know these men have zero sense. Good morning, caller. I hope this not your husband.
Hello?
Oh, this is a gentleman on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Sandra. Good morning.
You can believe this foolishness?
Pardon?
You can believe the foolishness that you're hearing right now?
Well, yes, because I live in this crazy world, you know?
Oh, okay.
But I call in defense of the men still, I mean.
Oh, you're going to defend the men?
Yeah, man, because I hear talking and you putting all up in the, all of us in the same boat.
I'm not saying all. I'm just saying a good portion of certain type of men.
Well, you see, all Jamaican, okay, well, my parentage are Jamaican, but I was born in Cayman Island.
Yes. Well, my husband is Jamaican too, and I don't believe that he falls into this category. He better not.
No, but I just want to say about my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-grandmother, I had the privilege of knowing them, and they were together all the time until they passed. My grandmother, my grandfather, same way. My mother, my father, the same way.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes.
You know, on my side now, I am probably I would say the goose, because I've not been that fortunate. I have 3 kids. I have 3 kids, and the wider Cayman audience who knows me, they understand who is talking. And I have raised my 3 my own. You understand me? Because I was duped by women who thought that giving me a child would change me and change their ways. But I could always do the moral thing and be the mother. And I did what I thought I was supposed to do that nobody taught me to do. I did the moral, not obligated by the courts or by anybody. I just did what my heart told me to. I raised my kids in the best way I could. So when you were talking about men and things, talk about the women who do these things too.
Well, I mean, I hope that I'm giving
women out there who take men and take them just for a paycheck and take advantage of men.
Yes.
So I'm not giving the man no right when he messes up and not take care of his responsibility. But the child was not there when they were doing the thing to say, okay, child, at age 4, you got to be on your own. No, they have an obligation to that child more than themselves. So I'm not giving the man a pass when he's wrong, but don't give the woman a pass either.
No, I'm not giving, listen, I think everybody has a responsibility.
Everybody, but you class in one for all. When you're making the general statement, just say some men or some women. It sounds much better.
Yeah, I know for sure I didn't say all. I know for sure I didn't say all.
No,
so.
Well, you didn't say either. But I'm driving, I listen to your show, you know what I mean? And a lot of stuff is already. Sometimes when you were talking like that, it kind of pricked a nerve in me to say,
this prick a nerve, because you've had to deal with a situation yourself.
No, but I'm like, who am I? But what I've been doing all this time, but I can't make, and I know others like me also. I'm not the one. I know many more like me who have taken on a challenge on their own as men.
Yes.
I remember.
But let me ask you a question then, right? Let me ask you a question. As a man, what do you think is your obligation when you start talking to a woman? Do you have this conversation? And this is where we really need to be having an honest conversation before you even sleep with a woman. Now, I'm going to get very personal with you, and I guess you can choose to answer or not. Do you say to her, what are your goals in life? Do you want children? Do you not want children? I already have one. I'm not looking for any more. So we got to make sure that we're tripling up on the birth control. Like, do people have those types of conversations anymore?
Well, if you're talking about me, I got to be real. I got to be like the cold hard truth.
Yeah, tell it.
It depends on the person, and it depends on the time I'm talking to the person. Because if I'm at the bar and I'm having a drink and I talk somebody in the
yes.
No, but I'm being honest. It's the honest truth that people don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking to a certain person or a certain woman in a certain category, I'm not going to think about long-term future and crap.
Okay, that's fine. But let me ask you a question. If you can't even think about a long-term future with a girl because you're just having a few drinks in a bar and you're looking for a little bit of fun, why aren't you wearing protection? I mean, not you personally, but why do you think men are not wearing protection?
Okay. Yeah, well, that's shame them, you know what I mean? That's shame on them because everybody's an individual, but the world has a balance. Because you have to have people like that for the other people who know better to do better. Because if you don't have somebody making a mistake, you're going to have somebody doing the positive thing. Negative and positive thing.
But we have too many people making these kind of mistakes. And then as a result, unwanted children come into the world. And these poor unwanted children become, a problem.
Sandra, but look at the social. What do we people today on social media? Sex sells. Fans only. That's what it's all about. I see some beautiful girls on social media that I say to myself, but why are you doing this? Nobody wants something that everybody had or everybody had seen. This is what the women need to learn.
Well, I don't know, child, because they seem to want that. But anyway.
No. Well, hear what? A man might be turned on by it. He may like to see it, but pick it up. Once he get it to himself, she cannot promote herself in that way anymore. That's not what he wants. He wants what he sees for himself. Like a song in the 90s went, they want a lady in the street and a freak in the sheet.
Yeah.
They don't want it to be all about.
So they don't.
Hard truth.
But listen. But you know what is also very true is even when they find, like, sometimes they want a good girl and they're gonna keep her as a side piece, and they're still out there with multiple side pieces, or they're gonna marry her and have her as the wife, and then they want to be doing other stuff.
Well, that's undecisive people.
I mean, people. It seems like a lot of men and women just do whatever they want.
No,
and
but it's what,
no consideration for something like children.
No, but look at the social media, what the world is teaching them. It's what everybody is teaching. If you look at the social media, that 90% of it is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what it is.
But that existed before social media, though, right? Social media didn't create that problem.
No.
Yeah.
But they help to push it up to that height. Because we don't have kids anymore, I have seen 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds with iPhones. God knows what they're looking at the iPhone with. That is why the kids can't be kids. They're living in an adult world. So when they become an adult, what do you think they've done? They've done grown. Or they believe they're grown, but they think they're adult things. So they believe that is correct, is what they're doing. Right. And so there's no guidance because the mom and dad doing the same thing too. Everybody at the table on their own social network. And they forget what the dining table was for. It was to converse with the kids to find out, how are you doing today? This is what you should be doing today. That is what the dining table is for. It's not for everybody to be on their own social network. So they have this social network. Like, I've seen mothers give their kids a tablet as a babysitter. Because it keeps the kids quiet.
Right.
And I don't agree with that. I've had it done to me. Not me personally, but my child. And I don't agree with that. Because every chance I get, I take my child and I do things outside. I'm a person in my garden. I got to teach my child to survive. You teach to survive, just give them the tablet and say, sit down and be quiet. that don't help because he's watching it. I've heard some of these things that they be watching, right? And this is going to be style stuff. Ryan is great, like you said. My son watches Ryan and stuff, you know what I mean? But some of these other anime stuff that these big people be talking, and I hear these words and where the paragraph or where the sentence is going, I'd be like, hey, turn it off. You can't be watching that. That's big people stuff. Although it's cartoon characters. It can't work. So it's what the social media is teaching our society. That is what we're reflecting. That's why we have so much of these, as I would say, as you would say, waste man. And I say waste woman too. We got enough waste woman out there. We got a lot of them. So we have to recognize if the problem is there. But it's not all men and it's not all women.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because I know some great Jamaican men as fathers. Great Jamaican men. That is not my family or friends. But is what I have seen and admired.
Absolutely.
I have seen some really,
I said, I found one, but then I know that there's a lot out there. It's like you gotta, go through a bag of a whole crock, a sack of frogs before you can find the one prince.
As I say, I see some real down dirty ones too, some real
well, this is one of them now that I'm talking about. This is the shyster now.
Good women, great women, they have made great women bitter, because they abuse and abuse them and mentally, not physically abusing them, but the mental abuse is worse than the physical, because the physical will heal quickly, but that mental will last you for the rest of your life. That's called trigger trauma. Any little thing will trigger that. And this is what we got to know as men, that you can't go into a relationship with a woman without knowing, say that, boy, you accept her for her. You ain't going there to change her. So you accepting what you see, because that's the problem with women and men, We see somebody that we love and we go in there, we try to reconstruct. Reconstructing, you fell in love with that person. You pour into that person pour into you.
Let me read something to you, what he says, right? This is one part where he says, I was a fool to think that this would be pure fun. Now it's eating me alive, as I will someday have to come clean and rip my family apart. This is a man who was in a relationship for 2 years, okay? As I know my wife will never forgive me for this. And by the way, it's not the first time he's done it, and the wife is very much aware. I surely should have known better. Hear him now. I pray every day for a different outcome and keep my fingers crossed that all of this changes. I'm not in a position to support you financially or mentally. After 2 years, I am the one who caused this on myself, and someday will have to face what's coming. I'll continue communication with you, but will not have a further relationship with you rather than just that. This is after wanting this woman to abort this child.
But his problem is, if he started this adventure, it's not a relationship, it's an entanglement. Because he already in a relationship, he already married.
But he was supposed to be in a relationship with his wife.
Yeah, but what I'm saying now is he started his entanglement off wrong. If he had started it off with honesty, because I know people in their polygamy stuff that they have the relationship, and
he actually says that he can't hear what he tells at one point.
But they were honest.
He says, I can't afford having a child here. You can imagine. He can't afford having a child here.
No, he's a waste man.
Yes.
He's stupid. And I as a man can say that to him, because you have a moral responsibility, not in court documents. No court can make a child yours. That's your flesh and blood. If you were man enough to have fun and this came out of it, say so, man up and take care of it.
Exactly.
There's no excuse for that ignorance. I don't give nobody no blight when it comes to that kind of. You make a child and you know that you with this person, it's better you support the mother until she have the child, and then you do your DNA, the child or yours. It's up to you to make the choice to separate. It's up to you, because I have known people too that they have, I would call it sponsoring, wearing the jacket, taking care of a child for 7 years. And when they found out the child wasn't there, they stopped dealing with the individual and still take care of their child. But the child is like their child, no matter what. The child is no better. So I respect men like that who take care of their own. A man who hit and run, that's a coward. That's a coward, a low down coward. So I would always tell anybody that's a low down coward, but at the same time, we got some cowardly women too.
And listen, now his poor wife is going to have to take care of this child as well, because of the situation that he has put her in.
I don't think he can take care of it, because if he was honest in the beginning, the wife don't know what's going on either. So honestly, a lie can always be added on to. So if he was honest in the beginning to tell this girl, say, look, I got my wife and she still wants to play along and stuff happen, she couldn't really blame him for the way he acted, you know what I mean? Because she understands that you would have a family and everything, you know what I mean? It's up to her to have her choice. You have to give people these choices. It all comes down to the choice, you know. I wouldn't want nobody to do me to say, well, boy, I see a woman and I start to talk to her. I start to develop feelings, and then after a while, me get deep now, and then when I propose to you, tell me, say, oh, crap, baby, I already married. What am I going to do emotionally? Just turn it off? No, it's not a light switch. It's worse than physical pain. And emotional pain is worse than physical pain. This is what people don't understand.
All right, caller, we're gonna get the young lady on the phone because she's gonna add some details to the case.
I want you to go.
Yes, because you keep listening. Because the young lady says she took birth control, and he was the one who never wanted to wear a condom and kept telling her that she got mad on him. All right, let's break it down. Let's get her on the call here now. Officer, he probably at work sweating now, boy. His coworkers like, ooh, honey child, Ma Road got your story featured. But yeah, men need to step up, man. This is ridiculous. Good morning, madam.
Hello.
Hi, morning.
Hi.
This is the cold hard truth. So we were talking about some of these, as the last caller say, oftentimes known as waste men. In other words, they're not a good to nobody. And of course, your situation came to mind with what's happening with you right now. So give us the Cliff Note version of what happened. You met this guy. How did you two of you meet?
We were introduced by an ex-friend because she's not my friend anymore.
Okay.
I was like 6 months new on the island. I did not know that this man was married, right? Because I don't know people. Because all I do is know where I work, from where I work to home. I don't drive. I take the bus, right? I'm not a person that go out by the road and have he or she or him and him as friends. So when I know this guy, I told him that it's best if we start off as friends. He never wants it to be no friend thing. He comes to my house like every single night, every single day. Right? He even take me to the restaurants on West B Road, some nice restaurants.
So you never had a car, to be clear. Wherever you went, he would drive.
No. Yes. He always come and pick me up.
Yes.
Right. So
did you ever go to his house?
Never ever.
Did you think that was a red flag?
Yeah, kinda. But he always having excuses about everything, and he always talk about something else to make that topic come on.
Okay.
Right?
Did he introduce you to his friends?
Yes, I know all of his friends.
Yeah. Well, obviously the ones you can only speak to the ones that you think you know all of them, but they're probably friends that he has as a married couple that he never introduced you to.
They are married as well.
Yeah. So the whole time he was married to this Caymanian woman and you had no idea about it?
No, until when I got pregnant.
All right. So at one point you said that he actually even moved your apartment so you could be closer to his workplace?
Yeah, he moved me from in town, come to Bottom Town, near to Northward.
Near to the prison where he works. Wow. And so you continue about your business. Did you guys ever, after 2 years, normally you start to talk about, do we want to have kids? Do we want to get married? So what was the plan when it came to children?
No. We never spoke about that. Right?
You never spoke about that in 2 years?
No, because I have another son that he has some medical situation. So I always talk about that and he always comfort me and everything. Right? And we never mentioned that none at all. Because even though I was on birth control, I took the morning after. And the doctor said that my body get used to the pills. Not only that, whenever I'm with this man and I tell this man to use condom, this man fight me up and tell me that, oh, I have man with him and just bend me over and just put it in. So yes, I did take the birth control. Yes, I was protected myself because I have another son that he has medical situation. Right? And when I found out that I was pregnant, I told him. And this man said, I must be Ross. Sorry, the language. I must be mad.
Wow.
I can't keep this child.
So he refused. He refused. You were taking birth control. He refused to do anything on his part, and accused you of having other relationships when you were trying to insist on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. What a mess. All right. So so you get pregnant. There's a first child that you actually lost. And even at that point, he still does not tell you that he's a married man?
No, he didn't tell me at that point because he was there. Because the baby did die. So, I lost the pregnancy, the miscarriage. So he did not tell me. He still come around. He sleep at my house. He has clothes at my house. He has shoes at my house. He also has a key. So when
someone wants to know if he was actually paying any of your household bills. Was he contributing to the rent?
He paid my rent.
He was paying rent?
Yes, ma'am. He was helping me paying rent. And not only that, when I'm driving in this man's vehicle, this man windows is always down, rooftop always open. So this man wasn't hiding. I have videos and pictures of me and him on the road, all over the place.
And you were going to work parties and stuff with him as well?
Yeah, I went to his work party and football.
And football matches? And nobody ever walked up to you and pinched you and say, honey child, this man got a wife?
Nope.
Wow. How long has he been married for? Do you know?
According to his wife, she said it's 10 years put up with all of this. Because even though I contacted her and I let her know that I don't want nothing to do with this man. All I want him to do is to take care of his child the best way. I am not interested in this man. This man disgusts me. I don't have nothing to do with him. I just want him to take care of his child. All
right. So let's make sure we understand. So you got pregnant the first time. Unfortunately, you lost that child. How far into the pregnancy did you lose the child?
It was about 2 weeks.
Okay, so it was very, very early in the first trimester. Okay. So you lose the child. This man is still there with you. He took you to the hospital?
Yes, he did. He was the one that come take me off the floor when I was vomiting out blood and so forth. And
wow. He was in the public with you then, taking you to hospital, holding your hand by your bedside?
No, he never held my hand in the bedside, but he took me to the hospital, ensured that everything was okay, because he said that he had work to go.
Oh, so at that time he had to go to work. He couldn't stay at the hospital with you.
Yeah, he leave me.
Oh, I see. All right. And then after that, things get back to normal. How soon after do you get pregnant with the second baby?
It was like about 5 months after.
Okay. So he still doesn't tell you about the wife?
Nope. Until I was pregnant. As you can see in the message that I show you, he said that I can't keep it because, and I said, why? He said, because I have a wife.
So that's how you found out that he had a wife on the WhatsApp messaging, where he tells you that you can't keep this child, and then because he has a wife.
Yeah.
What a mix-up story. So then he tells you this, and what was your response?
I was like, what? What do you mean by you telling me that you have a wife? When you were blue, the message are there. You see all of the message. When you were blue, it's in your run comes to. I never know that you have a wife. He said you have to get rid of this baby. Then he said, I have a guy that I've been using so you can get the pills from him.
Wait a minute. Back up. He has a guy that he's been using. That surely implies that this isn't the first time that he's found himself in this situation.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what he said.
That he has a guy he's been using for the morning after pill.
No, not morning after pill. The abortion pill.
So people can get abortion pills here in Cayman? It's not the same thing as the morning after pill.
No, it's different. It is wicked. It's 4 pills, 2 by the mouth and 2 in the vagina.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know such a thing existed here. Okay.
Yeah,
so this friend of his, is a friend a doctor, or what kind of person is this friend? Because you gotta be careful taking pills from people.
No, I don't think he's a doctor.
But he has access to these pills.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds like some kind of bamboozling thing then, some kind of black market prescription business.
Because it almost saved my life.
So you actually got the pills and you took them?
Yeah, because I was thinking about putting myself in his wife's situation. I was doing a lot of thinking.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I was saying that the baby never developed yet. I was saying that and so forth. But when I went to the hospital, and did the ultrasound, the doctor said that you're 7 weeks pregnant and the baby is fine, but you have internal bleeding. What did you take? What did you do? What happened? But the doctor know what I took, because they put drip on me in time and flush my system. But I was in the hospital because I have videos and pictures when I was there.
So someone said people bring the pills in from other places and sell them. They're not legal. Another person says that these abortion pills come out of Honduras. Oh, wow. I didn't know about this. This is new for me.
And I would pay $400 for it.
For these pills?
Yeah, $400.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. What a mess. All right. So you take these pills and almost kill yourself. So a physician is listening to the program. He says, your caller is talking about prostaglandin. Specifically, the brand is called Cytotec, and it was originally designed to heal stomach ulcers, but it can also cause miscarriages. So that doesn't sound like that's the intended purpose, but it might be a side effect. So you took the pills and then it never worked. Except it made you sick and you got an internal bleed.
Yeah, I did. Wow. They said that maybe the baby won't survive and so forth, but eventually this baby survived.
Somebody else says $400 to $500 CI, and she's not telling no lie. Wow, it seems like people know about this, and I don't have a clue. Somebody else is laughing out loud. She got a good price. Someone has them up to $900. So there's a whole black market abortion market here that I didn't know about. Pills. Oh, okay. Well, folks, you learn something new every day. So you took these pills. Unfortunately, it didn't kill the baby. It ended up almost killing you. And you were in the hospital because of this?
Yeah, I have a big high bill there. I'm still taking my time to pay it off because I did have to end up carrying myself to doctor for my child because this man never helped me until my belly was 7 months. And I had my son when my son was 8 months because the cord was wrapped around my son's neck time. So they have to do an emergency C-section on me. So they took my child when he was 8 months old.
Oh, wow. But other than that, the baby's fine.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay. So thankfully the pills didn't cause anything. But a lot of people seem to know about these pills. Anna says $500 CI for them. Michael LeMay says, yeah, some of these pills come from Honduras. I never knew government is giving out birth control pills. Maybe they can put Plan B on their medical program too, says Jonathan. So this is really sad. So how does it make you feel that a man you've been with for a couple of years, you get pregnant not once but twice, and then this man says to you, on not even a phone call, not even in person, but through a WhatsApp message, I have a wife. What?
Yeah.
You were shocked, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was, because I didn't know. I never knew. Like, honestly, I was all trembling. Like, I didn't even go to work for 1 week. I just called in sick.
Wow.
I was there crying and everything.
So this person says, a certain local Caymanian physician sells the pills on Shedden Road. I know for a fact, because my grandchildren mother buy from him and almost died. They had to air ambulance her out. Wait a minute.
Yeah, the pill are very dangerous, and it is very, very dangerous.
Women are doing this, almost killing themselves. Another physician says the intravaginal application will cause the cervix to open and empty the uterus. Oh my God, what a mess. Somebody else says $400. They do come out of Honduras and they're in high demand. I know a few almost died taking them, got really sick, really bad. Wow. This is something that I had no clue about. So, all right, folks, I'm in a little bit of shock here this morning, and it's unusual to be able to shock me. But anyway, there you go. So how long were you in the hospital for?
I was in there just for 2 days, that's all.
Okay.
Because,
and you had some sort of internal bleeding that they needed to get under control.
Yeah, they need to watch the internal bleeding, yeah. Because I still have a bill there because it was me alone doing everything.
So he never contributed to the bill, although he was the one who, he went and got the pills for you, or he took you to this guy?
He took me to the guy.
And he paid for the pills at least?
Yes, he did.
But he wouldn't pay the hospital bill when you got sick from the pills?
No, he didn't pay that. He only helped me with the bill from the hospital to have the baby. That's all.
Oh wow!
And when the
so
baby
how much
born,
two days in the hospital? What did that run you roughly? Because I'm sure you have insurance. You work a job.
Yeah, I have insurance, but it was $900 because they have to put drip on me about 4 times. Because I went there after 12 a.m. because I was vomiting blood and so forth. So, and then I went back, in the morning because I was still feeling the pain and I was still vomiting out blood and so forth.
Okay. So he tells you he's married. You say what? You try to get rid of the baby, doesn't work out. You end up having the baby. At what point do you get in contact with the wife, and how do you do that? How do you then know who the wife is?
Because he wasn't being fair with the maintenance, and knowing the fact that everything is expensive now and it's me alone and I'm only working $7 an hour. So
when you say he wasn't being fair, tell us exactly. What was he?
He wanted to give me $300 for 2 months.
No, sir. So he thought in his wisdom that $300 for 2 months could do what for baby? Buy diapers, buy formula, buy hot air. I'm not sure what $300 for 2 months does. That's $150 a month. What does he expect you to do with that? I mean, it's better than nothing, but.
And then he's saying that he don't want no bond with the thing. He's not interested in the thing. He don't want to be a part of the thing life.
So he's referring to your child as a thing.
Yeah, and it.
Wow. And how did that make you feel? Like, I mean, anybody refer to my child as a thing, I might have to go a little bit crazy on him.
Yeah, I was upset, and I just came out of his vehicle and slammed his door and just walk away. And then I contacted his wife and said that, Mom, I'm going to carry you. But they heard from me, or him, but I'm the one who's going to let you know what's going on. I'm going to take your husband to court. Me and him, we haven't have any intimate whatever, because
oh yes, and he told you he wanted a DNA test done. Did you get the DNA test?
No, we went to the DNA place, the lab, and me, him, and his wife, and then after that, we were in the DNA place. They asked for the mother ID. They asked for the father ID. We gave them the both ID, and the wife was there. So the young lady asked me to step outside.
So the wife came to the DNA. She showed up then to the DNA.
Yeah, she was the one that has his ID and everything.
Oh.
So yeah. So when the
at that point, did you have a conversation with the wife?
No, she didn't have any conversation with me, none at all. None of them. It's just that the lady in the DNA place, she picked up what's going on and she called me outside and asked me, who is that person? If it's his mother or... So I said, no, it's his wife. And so I said, she said, we don't need her here. It's just your sample, the baby sample, and the father sample. You said that man is the father, so it's his sample we need. So after that, I said, it's okay, she can be here because it's not like me and him have anything. I just want to show them that he himself know that the child is his. The wife herself said that from she look at him, she said it's his. She called his name and said, that's his child. So when we went in the DNA place now, when me and the lady went back inside, he was saying that why all the private conversation? I'm not interested to do this anymore. Matter of fact, if I'm going to do this, I don't want her to be a part of it. So
who's her? You?
Me, yes.
Okay.
So the lady said she has to be a part of it.
Like, how can you not be a part of it? It's a DNA test.
It's him paying for it and so forth. So he went outside on his phone, and then I see she coming through the door, say, he said he don't want her to be a part of it. And she said,
the wife?
I'm going to discuss. Yes. And then he said, I'm going private. So I said, I'm not going private. He said, you come into HNS. You come in here at Georgetown Hospital. I'm here. I'm ready to do the DNA and so forth. I'm not going nowhere else. You understand? So he said that I don't want to be a part of it. So she said, the wife said no. The lady said, you need to I need to discuss it with my colleagues to see if what I can do. So she said, you need to get somebody bigger than your colleagues. That's what the wife said.
Wow.
You need to get. So the manager come down now, and the manager was like, can you guys step outside? So we step outside. So he said, it is by law. It's not what we wrote. It's by law. She is a child's mother. She has to be a part of it. We can't do nothing about that. So even though the man come and say that, they still did not proceed with it. They talking about then she started to talk to me. Oh no, he don't talk to me about anything. Okay, this is it.
So did you eventually get the DNA test done? You eventually got it done?
No, she said that is his child and so forth.
So the wife said it's his child and she's happy to accept it?
Yeah.
No, sir. So why would he do the DNA test? Like, I'm confused.
She said, I don't know, She said to me that, right? Here's the thing. I don't want to bother with no court. I don't have the space for no court.
This is what she said to you? Oh, they're trying to hoodwink you, girlfriend. Don't you be fooled now. Because you see, this is what I'm wondering, because the court would require a DNA test.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, I'm going to have him to give you 75 hours a week time. So I said,
is she not no court system? How can she decide this sort of thing?
I'm just telling you what she's saying.
Okay. But
And
you do see how it looks like these people are trying to fool you into something, right? The best way to do this is through the court system, because when he doesn't pay, because she's telling you as though she's the bailiff, that she's going to make him pay $75 a week. But when he doesn't pay and they go on vacation in Florida for the summer and whatever, nobody has any money left to pay you, you have no recourse. The court will ensure he pays. And if he doesn't pay, they can do things like garnish his wages and so on. So, my dear, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to tell you not to be stupid, because it seems to me that someone is trying to take advantage of you, including even the wife for her own, financial freedom. Did she put this in writing that she was going to give you $75 a week? Do you have a contract? What are we talking about here? You understand? No. You must take her word for it and his word, and he's already proven that he's a liar. So we're not going to believe anything he has to say. So listen, you have a conversation here in July of last year where he says that he thought that this was just going to be pure fun, the situation between you and him. Did you get the sense that he was just having fun? That you were just a fun girl?
No, he never made me feel that way. He wasn't like, even when I tell this man that, because I did have a feeling at one point that something was wrong, like why you can't stay here with me afternoon and stuff, or why you have to leave early morning and stuff like that. So I tell him that, look here, I feel uncomfortable. I'm tired of this. I just want out. He never wants out. He came, he begged me not to leave. I got through it with him, I got through it with him. He begged me. He even bring me to East End to get, because I love fish and so forth, to buy me a fish and my friend fish. This man even come at my workplace. Come wait for me. Cameras out by my workplace. Can play back all of them time there. I'm not telling lie on this man.
And he says here that we were a team. I mean, at one point he does, when he's trying to play psychological games with you, he does say that you must just chill. That why do you hate me so much? All I want is for us to start fresh. Why are you giving me all of this? We never used to be like this. We were a team. Normally when you're just having a fun side thing, you don't talk about the fact that you were a team.
Exactly.
He goes on to say, I think this might be you saying that I believe a child deserves the best. So I'm going to request for him to have a medical this week. Is that you or him that's saying that?
Medical this week? No, it's him.
That's him. That's him saying that. So he's okay. He's responding to you. And then he says to see if he has any illnesses. It will also be required to sort out his insurance this week. I've contacted my company, which is Pan American, and their starting rate is $300. I will be paying my portion by Wednesday, the latest. Now, this is strange because you said he's a prison officer.
Yes.
So why does he have insurance with Pan American? Prison officers fall under Cineco.
I don't know.
Okay. So you think maybe he's trying to hoodwink you again because now you have to give him $150 or he's going to deduct that from what he's giving you. Which, if he's with Cineco, that's 100% coverage. But of course, for him to put the child under his insurance, is he the father on the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
So now he's on the birth certificate. So he's willing to admit that this child is his now, even without the DNA test.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is this about? He says he's going to send you the official quote once Children and Family Services gives the order for you to take the baby in to get checked for his insurance. What does Children and Family Services have to do with the baby's insurance?
They said he and his wife said they're going to report me to MASH unit. And I know that I'm not an unfit mother and my child is healthy.
Why would they be reporting you? For what?
I don't know. Because she's saying that, if I keep the baby from her.
From her?
Yeah.
So the wife wants your baby?
Family. Yeah, she's saying that she's a child stepmother now and she wants to be, the child is a part of their life or her life. She's a part of this. And she have a son, and the son is going to want to know his brother. So if I try that, they're going to report me to matrimony.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's good that she wants to be so involved in this child's life. How old is his other child, by the way?
I think he's 11. He's going to be 11 this December. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And even so, me and him and his son also go watch games together. We go out together.
Hold on here, honey child. Let me take. Can I please get somebody to add something to my tea this morning? I don't drink, but I think you better add some Hennessy to what I'm just hearing. So he was taking you places with his son?
Yes.
And who did the son think you were?
I don't know. He was polite, so he wasn't. So I asked her if she know about that, if the son tell her. She said no, he didn't tell her anything.
Well, he certainly wasn't trying to hide the situation. Wow. So at one point he says, I'll help out monthly, just don't put the child in my name. Whatever I can do and anything you want me to do, please let me know. I will do until the baby's born. So this is before the baby's born. After which I will do a DNA test and then we'll decide the future from there. And this is the same man who then ends up refusing to do a DNA test.
Yeah.
Wow. And you respond and say that you wasted time with him believing that he cared about you, and just know all you want was fun. To hate me is one thing, I understand, but for you to hate your own seed that is growing within me is wicked and heartless. You would allow me to murder this child knowing what I have been through, but now I see clearly that you wanted both of us dead when you can live happily ever after. Oh my gosh. What a mix up situation. Then he goes on to say that he's trying his best as possible dealing with the situation. Whenever the child is with you, you call the shots, but when the child is with me, so you give him access to the child?
No, I thought, remember, this man did not want anything to do with my child. I don't know what his capability of, or his wife capability of, to do to my son. My son cannot talk as yet. He can't even walk. He's just 8 months.
Okay. So when he says that that you call the shots and when the child is with me, then me and my wife will be in charge. I see where this is going with you and I will ensure I prevent it. What is he talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. Nick, I don't know.
Because now he looks like he wants to step up and have access to the child with the wife.
He still knows. Sandra, this man doesn't want anything to do with the child. It's just because I threatened him about court, and it's like, court, call him. Court, call him. That's why he wants to play Mr. Good Guy. And even though he want me to sign a paper stating that he gave me money for August and September, $300. I'm not going to sign something like that.
So here's what he goes on to say, right? He says, once my name goes on the birth paper, which has already happened, I hope you're aware that things will change. I will now have parental rights to the child, which means that if at any point you try to prevent me from getting the child, once my name goes on the birth paper, will be reported to Children and Family Services. So he seems to know all kind of legal stuff all of a sudden. I will soon provide you with a cell number to call and text me on. This number will no longer be accessible to you. A copy of this will be emailed to you. Oh, so he's going to be blocking you. He's going to give you a specific number where only, I guess that's just the number for the side pieces to call him on. And then you won't have access to the primary number anymore.
Yeah. I don't have.
He goes on to say, I understand everything you're saying and want to say. The only thing is you will never understand me. I will give you guys everything I have and spend as much time with him as I can. I will make sure I have seen him once per week, but I'm not going to have a bond if I'm not interested. Well, what kind of foolishness is that? You're going to see the child once a week, but you don't want to bond with the child? What kind of stupidity is that?
Exactly.
And no judge or power in the world can make this happen. Only me. What a no good man talking foolishness. He goes on to say, so let's do whatever. I have never doubt nothing or denied anything. Well, that doesn't seem to be true because he was asking for a DNA test earlier, but anyway. But love comes naturally, not forced. Thanks. Me and my wife agreed that a DNA needs to be done tomorrow morning. And then it looks like there was a phone call or something. And then you say, we're going through the courts. And he says, okay, cool, but I still need the DNA test. And then they end up refusing to do the DNA test. And then I see a message here that says, we're coming towards the lab. And then you say, you started helping me when I was 7 months pregnant. I spent so much time without your help. You must make the lady look small. Tell her, please don't contact me. Thank you. Oh, that's a little picture of the baby. He's cute. What a mess. And is this, you're telling him to stop texting you? And he responds and says, I said I will. I will pay half of his medical and insurance expenses. That's what the message said. I know you're upset, but please put that aside and let's do a DNA. I've been giving you $300 from before the child born without any proof that he's mine. Now that he's here, I want to make sure so I can further do my part. And then you say, then he says, fine, if you're paying in full, you want to do so, you have to pay for it. And then you say, what time? 11:30, I'll be at the HSA. The place opens between 12 and 4. It does matter. I will be there at 11:30. And then you say, okay, do you find out about childcare? You need your passport and the child's birth certificate. What a mix-up situation. Who is this having to borrow money from my workplace to pay? So I suggest you start making additional sacrifices too. Oh, he has to borrow money to pay for this child.
That's what he said. That's true.
So he can't afford the child.
Oh, that's what he said.
Okay. What mess. So he claims that he has to borrow money. And this week, the birth certificate will be ready. I'll have my half of the processing fee. Can we go on Monday? I'll pay half of the cost to do the permit issue you requested. What permit issue?
Yeah, he's talking me about my permit. The both of them.
Mm-hmm. Then he says, last but not least, I gave you $300 August month end, thinking the baby is still in Jamaica. So the baby was in Jamaica?
Yeah, I took him to Jamaica.
Say that again. I can barely hear you.
I said that because they said that I can't stay there with the baby child alone. So I have to find somewhere. So I didn't have nobody to keep him. So I did have to find somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So I took him to Jamaica he was down there for like 4 months.
Oh, I see.
And I have to pay somebody to keep him.
Wow. So then you talk about that every government employee is entitled to have cynical coverage. That's 100%. This seems like someone forwarded this to you. Where did you get that information from?
Yeah, the lawyer.
Oh, you have a lawyer you were talking to?
Yeah.
And they told you that because he's a government employee, they don't know what this Pan American thing is about because he's supposed to get 100% cynical coverage. And he can just add the child.
Yeah.
Now you say to him that you lie about everything. Hannah. Hannah's his name?
Yes, that's his name.
Officer Hannah?
Yes.
What a hot mess. Me loving you doesn't mean I want a family with you. So this man admits that it wasn't just fun. He says he was loving you. I don't understand this. He says, me loving you doesn't mean I want a family with you. It surely doesn't mean I want a child with you either. And then your response is, it's a little bit too late for that. Oh my God. And then he responds and says, I'm just going to make sure I take care of my responsibilities. And you reply and say, you better. So with that said, please let me be. And you say, really now? So he says, me loving you doesn't mean I want a family with you. And this was in November. When was the baby born? The baby was already here.
December the 30th.
Oh, so this was a month before the baby was born. He's still talking about he was loving you?
Yes.
My Jesus, take the wheel, take the bus, take the caravan. Wow. So then you're asking him to assist you with some food and things concerning the baby. And he says, I told you that I'm broke and that you can't just be asking me for money whenever you feel the need. I have suggested the monthly stipend. A stipend for a child? No, honey, child, it's called child support. It's not a stipend. But you refused because you said you had things covered. Then you said you're doing this so you can go court and tell the judge that I didn't help you. Regardless, my interest is genuine and not motivated by my personal needs and wants. Right. I am more concerned genuinely whether it turns out it's not my child, but you couldn't see past that. And when I get paid, I will give you what you have always been asking for, just money. So bye for now, being as I'm getting paid for now and there's nothing else I can do. Okay. So he's broke and doesn't have any money.
Mm-hmm. Every time when I ask him to buy clothes or food for the baby, he always broke. Or his mother is on life machine in the hospital, or his father is sick in the hospital too. All of that in the messages. So it's just me alone.
But he's very confusing. He seems to want to gaslight you a lot because here he says, I'm here begging to help, and all you're talking about is RAS DNA. I don't give an F about DNA. This is the same man who was telling you that he wanted the DNA?
Yes.
So why all of a sudden he don't care about DNA?
I don't know. This man, I don't know what.
Because then he says it's my child. Okay, perfect. And you clean broke, but you can afford lawyer. So now he's telling you you can afford a lawyer. Gosh, you money enough. Well, because I'm broke as F, I can't afford one. So it's just me alone. And you tell him that you're tired of his, you know what now. I'm doing my best to work with you. And I agree to pay maintenance. So he goes from calling it maintenance to calling it a stipend. What a mess. Now he says, I don't doubt that the child is mine. I told you that over and over again. So at what point did he become so convinced that the child was his and a DNA was no longer required?
When I told him that I'm going to tell his wife and I'm going to the court.
And this is what you say. You pulled that one big word out the hat on this one, I must tell you. So you say, and saying that you broke an offering to help is kind of a paradox, isn't it? Where you get big word from? I'm talking about paradox. Lord God, help. And then you say, what else would I ask for? Affection, sex, love? Your point is mute. Yes, sir. The child needs me to survive and I need food to survive. Yes, I had things covered, but things happen. I've never been ungrateful for the help that you've been giving. You're turning your offer to help into another, what is that? Wormhole?
Yeah, wormhole.
Why ask to help? And when I tell you how you can help, you revert to being someone I don't recognize. It's either you want to help genuinely or you're just doing it for quote unquote your child. And we both know it's your child. But in time, you will be positive because the DNA will prove it. And then he says, I don't doubt that the child is mine. I told you that over and over again. So at some point, he becomes very convinced, even without a DNA test. So he claims that there's no need for DNA tests all of a sudden. Because he's no longer contesting the child as his, I'm owning the child. Wow. What a hero. Oh, this is interesting. He says, if I do a DNA test, then the child automatically has to get residency. Oh, I think he's trying to be smart from an immigration perspective. Now the truth kind of comes out here. He says, if I do a DNA test, then the child automatically has to get residency. Then you as the mom compulsory have to get yours to keep the child. Oh, okay. Now I see that this birth paper signing is about. So this is what he's trying to flip it on you when you wanted to put his name on the birth certificate and do the DNA test. And then you said kiss my teeth. And he says, but you didn't know I don't get status yet. How can he be married to 10 years to Kim and don't have status? And so the child can't get papers from me. So then you say, shake my head, how effing status come into this? And then he goes on, and the court can't order a DNA test if I accept to support the child. This man is confused. What? And you say, all I want you to do is your part Ute. He says, financially, yes, but I'm already seeking legal advice. So now he just told you he couldn't afford a lawyer, but now he's seeking legal advice. What a mix-up thing this man into. And then he says, I think you shouldn't use the name Hannah. This is in relation to the child?
Yeah.
So you said yes because it's your child. So a name is the most important decision to identify your child. My dear, I'm going to choose Chloe Hannah, but I think Ariana, you thought you were having a girl or what? Because these are girl names.
The doctor said it was a girl.
Oh, you thought it was a girl initially. So you were going to do Ariana Hannah sounds better. Let me know what you think. So you were even allow him to participate in the naming of the child. So then he says, I think you shouldn't use the name Hannah. But that's his name. And then you respond to him, which name do you want me to use? Campbell? And he says, yes. You're going to use this baby thing, make things bad for everyone because of selfishness. Wow. And then you said, well, she's mine. I think I will think about it. Just name the child Campbell. It can always adjust after. Oh, does man really think he's smart? What? He says, I'm done talking. But then you say any surname can work. I would appreciate that a lot. This man is still hoodwinking you and you were talking foolishness about any surname can work. No, sir. At one point you say to him, Hannah, you're only for yourself. And he says, tell me what you want me to do. You know what to do already, Hannah, and you're never going to change for no one. And then he says, tell me. And then you respond and just say to be supportive. And he says, that doesn't define it. Tell me in details. Then you say to him, Mr. Hannah, pray and ask God what is best for an unborn child. Can't stress out myself right now when God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly of whatever I can think or ask. So right now I'm trusting in God with all of my heart and not leaning to what things I can't understand. God gives life. And then he says, oh, as I say, I will offer my financial support in whatever I can, in whatever way I can. This man is just a bunch of back and forth. Wow. What a hot mess. Let's see what some of our listeners are thinking. My apologies, but this just has me so stomped. I don't even know what to say. Michael says, take him to court. Morna says, Sandy, this sounds like the song says, I would like you and my sweetheart to be friends. Shaking my head. Marshall says, it sounds like he's crazy. Damien says, this excuse of a man is a big piece of dog. You know what? Stacy says the wife is a yam head. Oh, Lord have mercy. The wife probably wrote that, says Michelle. Jalissa says, if the older son was going, that means that the mother knows, or that child definitely has some issues and needs someone to talk to, because at 10, he knows daddy not supposed to be with any other woman. So he didn't tell his mom. He definitely have a lot of buildup. Well, that means that probably the dad has been doing this for a while. And maybe there's other women too, and the son just get used to daddy having a lot of female friends. Stacy says this is one Bangarang Friday tea hot. Darlene says he's training his son to be sneaky like him, lying and hiding things. Michael says he needs to be named. Both him and the wife couldn't see my child, says Stacy. Sharon says, not my son. Benji says, laughing out loud, hen I see. Marshall says his son is no snitch. Cayman law, says Donna, is that if you're not married to the man, you can't register the child in his name unless he's present to do so. So she showed up for you to do that part.
He showed up at the government building and signed the paper. What is that person talking?
Michelle says this is exactly why he cheats, because she condones it. Make sure you save those messages and email WhatsApp messages for safekeeping. Stacey says, I wish it was me, because that wife will have the best of me since she want to play next mother. That part I found really, really interesting. El Rey says, boy, the deeper you dig, the stinker it gets. Debbie says this whole thing is making her head hurt. Cece says, Liliana made a comment. What did Liliana say? Oh, Lord. I don't say. Oh, Liliana says, I don't believe one word she say. Why she found the wife suddenly, and she knows Jamaican man is not innocent. Wow, what a hot mess. Darlene says he shamed and guilty for his creeping, perverted habits. Cannot do anything with him. That is in his blood. He is sick. Stacy says let the court order him to do so. No, sir. What is his name? Says Michelle. Well, we have a picture. Y'all ready for the big reveal? But Cece responds to Liliana and says, you can comment, but I'm telling you to stop talking what you don't know. That part, the girl isn't lying. She's here and the girl isn't lying. She have everything she need for court. What a mess. This is so sad, because in the mix of all of this, there is a child, right? Who ultimately, it would be good if the child could have both parents. But do you ever see you guys getting to a point where you can have, shared custody of the child, and the child, although this man is no example, I should tell you, for his son especially.
No, negative.
Do you think you'll get to the point where he'll step up?
I honestly don't know, because even the other day before the storm.
Yeah, you sound a little bit muffled. Just speak up a little bit for me.
Yeah, I said even the other day before the storm, he said that he wanted to see the baby. So I said okay. So I said you can meet me.
He wanted to see the baby.
Yeah, so I said you can meet me at up on the bear and chill fun park there. He said okay. So he said what time? He said about 5. When 5 come and I call my friend to come and pick me take me. This man blocked me. I was sitting at the park for so long, waiting on this man. This man blocked me off WhatsApp.
So he requests to see the child, and you agree on a venue, and he goes to that venue, and then he blocks you?
Yes, ma'am. I went with the baby, and he blocked me. I even did it myself there.
Wow. So he's playing games with you. My goodness. Darlene says, Sandy, this is the kind of prison officers our Cayman Islands have. Might as well hire our local young man that's in prison. Because Darlene's saying that they're really not much better, to be honest. Yes, honey child. and prison and police, and they seem to really enjoy the uniform services. I don't know if it's just because those jobs are easier to get. What a mess. Benji says, oh gosh, if loving you is right, then I don't want to be, if loving you is wrong, then I don't want to be right. Ugh. Jonathan says he was born loving the WAP. What's the WAP? What is WAP? I have no idea what that is. A married man would say anything to get the goods, and some women fall for it, says Marshall. Damien says if there's any lawyers out there that could help. What a mess. Stacy says, I really want to know this man because my sister, you have my blood because I'm a Jamaican too. This could be me. All right. So how many of y'all want to see him? Al Ray says, how many? And I'm now Googling prison officer Hannah. Soka says no money, but he had money for rent for the sexcapades when the sexcapades were on. Oh, has he stopped paying your rent? When did he stop paying rent?
He stopped paying rent when I got pregnant.
When you got pregnant, he stopped paying rent. But he had how much is your rent? I mean, not to get too much in your business, but we're already knee deep in. So
I used to pay $600 at that time. It included everything.
$600 a month. Mm-hmm. So he stopped paying rent, but he can't redirect that $600 a month, which obviously the wife wasn't missing, to pay for his child.
He said that he can't afford having a child here.
But he could afford your rent for almost 2 years.
No, I used to pay $900 first at Lakeside.
Right, but then he moved you to a cheaper place and closer to his workplace.
Yeah.
And he was paying that $600. But my point is, if he can pay $600 in rent, why can't he pay $600 in child maintenance? So that you can properly take care of the child. So Marshall says, whatever you do, young lady, don't sign any papers that he gives you without a lawyer present. He's trying to mess you up. I wouldn't sign any papers at all. I would go to court and make the court figure this out.
When he called me nowadays, he started the recording because the message end up recording. But yet still, he called police on me the other day. Police came to my door, stating that I was videoing him, and he don't know what my capability of.
Because you were videoing him.
Yeah, so the police came here.
Cameron says we desperately need immigration reform. This situation is becoming too common. This is our future, K-Man. It is very, very sad. And Michelle says this man must be from Jamaica. It's a trend for most of them. And it's unfortunate because, as the previous male caller said, no one is trying to say that all Jamaicans are like this, or even all Caymanian women are stupid enough to be in a 10-year relationship with a man like this. But it does happen frequently enough to make one wonder. There are many, many instances of similar situations because I get messages all the time. There's another young woman right now who is married to Jamaican, has a young child for him. She has two other children that are not his. And the other day, he tells her that she must choose between him and her eldest son. Well, you know, any decent mother, that's not even a choice, right? So the mother chose her eldest son because the two of them weren't getting along. He's 15 years old. He leaves the matrimonial home and tells her that he's no longer going to contribute to the household. That's not quite how this works. You know, I was trying to find another WhatsApp message. It wasn't WhatsApp, but it was on, I think, Facebook, where a woman messaged begging me to talk about, she said specifically, Jamaican men who are coming to Cayman and taking advantage of women. And it's like a game for them, and they seem to have some kind of formula. This was a couple of weeks ago because I meant to get to it on another segment. But, you know, she said that this is something that they have been doing for quite some time. And, you know, she's kind of wondering what can be done. Well, I tell you what can be done. Unfortunately, the system can't save you from yourself. You know, as men and women, because I'm sure there's some women out there also taking advantage of men, we have to be smarter than the people looking to hoodwink us. And sometimes as consenting adults, you might enter into a relationship that is just purely sexual. And this is why I always say you need to communicate with people and be on the same page. And if it's just a sexual relationship, everybody should be on the same page, right? You were doing your part in terms of birth control. He was not. And, we didn't miss the point, because I had a person who said, obviously this is a very adult conversation, but someone on WhatsApp said, hold on a second. That they were very concerned at how you described what he did to you. Just push it in, because that sounds like sexual assault. If you request a man to wear protection and he refuses to do so and just bends you over and pushes it in, that is rape. I mean, I don't know how y'all defining rape these days, but I'm telling you that type of thing sounds like rape, whether you're in a relationship with this person or not. But we seem to accept and put up with so much stuff that it just boggles my mind. Nobody, no one should be in a position to force you to have sex with them on their terms alone and without protection. You don't know what else he might have been giving you other than a baby. You understand what I'm saying? STDs are real. What a mess. I don't know what to say, my dear, but it's ridiculous. What are you gonna do? Have you gotten a court date yet? Are you taking him to court? What's the latest?
Yeah, we have a court date.
You have a court date finally. Mm-hmm. And the court is going to make him do the DNA test. There will be no question about that. Court's going to put that in place. So he seems to think that somehow if he does a DNA test, it's going to entitle your child to something which he claims he can't give your child because he doesn't have status.
Mm-hmm.
What a mix-up. Wow.
And he knows that the baby is allergic to certain things. Mm-hmm. And he still bought them. He still bought the thing that the baby is allergic to. What will cause the baby to be admitted. He still bought them.
Well, I guess for now, if there's any such thing as him having access to the child, it better be supervised access, because it does sound like, he's not ready to take care of the child. And, I would be concerned too, given that none of them really want the child here. It's not like the mother's going to be, or his wife is going to be step parent of the year.
Because the wife said to me, why did you bring back the baby here? To bring back the baby here. I mean, I don't have anybody to take care of the baby. The lady that was taking care of him got sick. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm working. I have to work because I have another son that has medical situation. He has a seizure disorder, because a surgery has to be on his side. I have to work.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Very, very sad situation. We're gonna wish you the best. I mean, I don't know what the eventual outcome will be, but Vicky says now WhatsApp text won't happen between side chicks anymore. Oh, it's gonna continue to happen, because that's the only way that people can communicate normally, and the wives don't be checking WhatsApp. All right, so Anna says we want to see him. Daisy says show his picture. Dorette says don't be foolish. This man is only scared. You take him to court and follow the court rules. Jonathan says he can't do both, pay rent and pay child support. No, he stopped paying child support. He stopped paying rent. And I'm just saying that if he hasn't, if he stopped paying rent, that same money, because now he claims he's broke, can be used for child support. So everybody wants to see him. Darlene says, show his face. So I can tell the ladies to be aware of him. And, to be quite honest, not just him. You just have to be aware of people in general, young ladies and men. There are people out there looking to hoodwink you. Cameron says, telephone life, mash up my life. Telephone ting, mash up my life. That's a song that only a Jamaican could have come up with. Let's be honest. Gabby says those officers are probably his friends. That's why they have time for. That's what they have time for. Where's this man from? Says Anna. Marshall says, but a lot of Jamaican men have hoodwinked women and played these kinds of games when they're married in Cayman, or whether they're married in Cayman or Jamaica. Didn't immigration years ago had to change the law about how a child is connected or identified here in the Cayman Islands in terms of for immigration purposes? Because this was happening all the time back in the day when you had men coming here from the get-go, having families back in Jamaica, and then coming here and marrying and getting a new family and setting up themselves. And then all of a sudden, because they had these children, they were claiming off the children. I think there were some immigration changes because of it, but it is a real epidemic. These marriages of convenience, oh my gosh. Real Deal says immigration is being used, or Cayman, sorry, is being used in every which way possible. It's all, and it's all to the detriment of this place. The police and all uniformed services seems to be hell-bent on hiring and importing undesirables. Facts. Jonathan says he has to move her in with the wife if he plans to divert the rent money for child support. The wife did say that she wants to help with the child. Wait, maybe Jimmy Soul was right. Who the heck is Jimmy Soul? No, sir. All right. So KK said, let's see him. Let's see what he looks like. Vicky says, woman to woman, she's brave to come on CMR. So I believe every single word that she's saying. Miss Morna says, I danced that song many times in my days. Sandy, this is so sad, says Safina. It's going on too long on our little islands. Very sad. Dorette sends some words of encouragement. She says, young lady, be strong. This man will do anything to kill your child. Lord have mercy. Oh, my God. What a mess. All right. Hannah with the sweet banana, says El Rey. Well, let's see what Hannah looks like. Hannah, banana. There he is. Officer Hannah. What a mix-up situation. Miss Gloria says, well, if his wife is a Caymanian, then she is very stupid and needs her head examined too. Yes, Sandy. I do not think that wives can be raped, because once you said no, then that should be respected. I do not think, well, they can be, because once you say no, or you say only with protection and they ignore you, then that's not allowed. I mean, obviously this young lady is not going to put those charges to him, but other young people out there potentially listening to the show, whether you're a wife or not, please know that, you know, you have a right to tell someone no, and you have a right to ask someone to use protection. That's why, listen, I told you guys last week, DJ Renato's in court for having sex with a woman when she was unconscious and used no protection, got her pregnant, and she had to go to Canada to get an abortion. She didn't consent. And then the following morning, the allegation is, we'll soon know his fate, that he jumped on top of her again, forcibly this time, when she was saying, no, stop, I don't want this, and continued to have his way. Once again, without protection. It's horrible. Oh my goodness, girl. I mean, I feel so sorry for this poor child. You're going to have to do everything in your power to ensure that, you know, this baby has, I don't even want to call it a normal life, because this kind of stuff shouldn't be defined as normal in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, as a mother, you have to do everything in your power to try to protect this child. And I hate to tell you, but I wouldn't be trusting the stepmother or the father at this point either.
I don't trust them. I told them that my baby is not going to come around because it's the child and so on. The child.
Darlene says pretty boy. Well, he's not really pretty, but anyway, we'll leave that to Looks are in the eye of the beholder, honey child. Well, he's a prison officer. Our government paying him to carry on with these types of shenanigans. And his wife works for government as well. We don't have to identify her because I guess she is a victim in all this mix-up. Mr. Hannah. No, I just said that she worked. I think she works for government as well, right? So they don't have any health insurance that they have to pay between either one of them. They're not having pension taken out. How the man can't find money to take care of his child? Miss Morna says, where is he from? May I ask? I might have missed it. He's from Jamaica, my dear. It was a quiz question this morning. You could have gotten some free gas had you answered it earlier. Cece says she's no victim. She's causing more problems. Oh my goodness. All right. So that's Officer Chris Hanna. He says a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. He was at Deerfield Beach when he sent that photo. Did he ever travel with you overseas? I'm curious. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, and I was asking if he ever traveled with you overseas.
No. We did supposed to go to Jamaica together, but I told him that I'm not on that.
Okay. All right. Michael says that she needs a pro bono lawyer to help her out. She has enough evidence. Yeah, he just needs to go to court and pay child support, child. Our prisoners will be telling him about it, shaming him. Gabby says, Lord, every man named Chris, oh, crosses. Well, my dear, I appreciate you, coming on and telling your side of the story. It does sound like quite a bag of mix-up. You did provide enough evidence in terms of the messages and stuff that most of us can clearly see what was going on here. I wish you good luck with everything. Make him pay his child support through the court system. That's probably less contact that you have to have with him or the wife. And honey child, just be careful. The next one you get, you call us at CMR. We'll vet him for you. Next man that wants your phone number, wants to talk to you, we'll check him out for you. What a bang-a-bang. No, sir. Oh my gosh. All right. We got tons of comments coming in on WhatsApp, but I'm going to let you go because I do see other people trying to call in as well. All right, love. Thanks so much. Boy, I tell you, poor thing. I had to call her because he don't even give the woman credit on the phone. You can imagine. I'm calling her because she has no credit. He better.
But the person you have called is unavailable.
Oh gosh, I was trying to call. I think that was Charlene that was trying to call back. All right. Someone says how he can borrow money from prison. Dying with laughter. Show them, Sandy. Put him up. Show the wife too, because she has an online business and threatening this girl, giving her a hard time. She needs to be exposed also about going to report her mash to try and take the girl baby. Lord have mercy. Oh my God. Hold on. Y'all ready for this one? Y'all ready? Oh my gosh. Hold on. I couldn't hear that one. Hold on. Kaboom! Here we go. Here's a revelation. Sandy, that man has 2 other outside children. Oh, no, you did not. The guys on the prison football team and the acting director operates in that very fashion. I believe that girl. These girls need to stop sleeping with them. It's a S show with these men. 2 other outside children, but then the wife knows exactly what's going on. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? This person from the UK says, Sandy, he needs to be exposed. So not to repeat this with any other girl or woman. Sandy, even here in the UK, you see the same behavior from Jamaicans. Lord, these men giving Jamaicans a bad name. She needs to name him Cardi B song WAP. I'm not really a Cardi B fan. So I did not know what that stands for. Now I know. Kaboom! Y'all take that. Sandy learned a new word today, and it's not one that can be repeated on air, honey child. Wow. Someone says, how is the baby staying here if she only makes $7 an hour and on a permit? How did immigration allow that? I don't know. That's I have not a clue. I am speechless. Maybe the baby's just on a visitor's permits. My lad God. Vicky says no man will touch her now. Child, please. These men not got no scruples. You think they care? Child, please. She probably had 10 men lined up by next week if she wanted.
The person you have called is unavailable.
Oh no, that caller is unavailable. What a mess. 936-2626. What is your take on this? Our little friend who called earlier, that gentleman, he must still be listening, shaking his head. No, sir. No, my love. What a mess. Mix up for true, Pauline. Wow. I am so speechless. So he has other outside children. Oh my gosh. You know what I said? Remember, I need to get that clip where I was like, it's sweet, it's sweet, it's sweet. Yes, for some of y'all, it'll give you diabetes. It's so sweet. Perverted. Here it is now, Sandy says another Darlene. Oh my God. Roberta says, what on earth did I just tune into? You can't afford to maintain her because her rent, anonymous, because the $2,700 can't stretch. Well, Bangarang Friday is right, Anthony. I guess if he has 2 other outside children, I wonder if he's taking care of them. Oh my gosh. Aliana says Nuclear Friday, yo. No, sir. All right, let us read some more of the WhatsApp comments. I am just so shocked. Listen, y'all managed to shock me this morning. So this one says the baby is Caymanian through the alleged father's residency. Well, he claimed he not got status. Come and see how that really go. Somebody says they shame and turn off their phone now. Who's no, sir. Picture says $75 a week is $300. She needs to go to the courts. The child has to be registered in his name to get on his insurance. The wife wrote that. WAP. Yes, now I know what WAP stands for. Thank y'all very much. What a mix up. Somebody else says the wife have man. That the man that she have is one of his co-workers. Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all need to stop it. Seriously? Oh my God, you cannot make this stuff up. I just don't even know what to say. Yeah. Wow. No, sir. Wow. Somebody's sending one. Somebody's sending another mix-up story. I'm going to make sure my stepmom takes her to the authorities. Oh, Lord. All right. That's probably going to be for next week's show, obviously. OMG. No, sir. Oh, my God. Y'all are, this is, okay. This is just unbelievable. It's so crazy. This person says you don't need status if the father in question has permanent residency. It's automatically transferred to the child. Me don't know, child. I don't know how that go. Good morning, caller. What a bangamarang. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, yes, ma'am. You don't need to say you don't know what to say. You don't need to say a darn.
Listen, it's not often that I'm speechless. It's not often.
But the movie's so good, you got a hash, just send the popcorn round. That's all you do.
Oh, and hear what this person says. This person says, morning. Trust me, he isn't the worst in the prison force. That's second nature for these guys. Whoa. Wow. How do they have time for their jobs when they're always doing all this foolishness?
It's a sad indictment, I think, not just on human nature. But immigration needs reform. You know, when we were going into this last election season, campaign season, I asked for five things. Immigration reform was at the top of the list, and especially for this kind of reason. And nobody listens because I heard Deputy Premier mention marriages of convenience since they've been in. And in other words, this was not a campaign trail where you can promise anything and then sidestep. I heard him mention something about marriages of convenience. And oh my God, somebody really needs, immigration needs authority and legal power and everything to look at situations and circumstances. Because Caymanian, I don't know what wrong with Caymanian women and Caymanian man. And this woman does sound like she's a Caymanian by her accent. But I'll tell you what, so she's a Caymanian. Oh no. Who told her that? Did this man tell her that he loved her?
Well, he did. He did at some point. That was I saw the word love in there.
Yeah. But that's on paper now. He got time to construct. Where did he have an outburst of "I love you" in this relationship? People don't love you. People is loved in a relationship usually, But which one loves which one? That's the story. And I believe there was a lot of love in this relationship. I don't think she was the one.
Love of what? Love of what is the question?
Yeah, but I don't think she was the one being loved in any fashion. Because if you bring a candy and then you're gonna whip me for that, it was the candy really love, or was the whipping the love you wanted to exact for yourself? This is sick. This is really sick. And immigration, Mr. Premier, we need immigration reform. When you hear these sad stories, you're a man, I'm a woman. When you hear these sad stories in our little country, not that we were perfect, but we were nearly there. But we need immigration reform. We are looked at like idiots because I think this man is a perpetrator, meaning he started to do wrong for a purpose. And the poor wife, oh my God. I don't know. We need immigration reform. And I hope this story, as sad as it is, because it's a sad story all around, because no human being should be behaving like him. So it's a sad story all around, even from his perspective. We need
and of course,
reform.
I feel the worst. I feel the worst for the child. So someone says, please ask for an extension because they're leaving Wi-Fi. Don't worry, we're still on radio. We're good. But yeah, I don't even know what to say.
No, this is bad. And the sad part, like everybody is mentioning, it's not a case. It's not a case that people have not heard about before. Everybody kinds of cases every day, and when you don't have the position, the platform, or the ability to speak, you can't speak out in this society. The only people speaking out in this society are Caymanians, The other side talks about their status situation, their income situation, where they're going to live. We Caymanians are falling, Mr. Premier, for our hearts and our souls. I'm old enough to remember family member of yours called, what do you call him, OLP? And I know him and Noah Borden would put up with this kind of foolishness in our country. They would find a solution that might even be a pretty one. But we can't continue bringing about this child is innocent in the world, and it got soon, if God is not stepping up, and his spouse is not stepping up and pour her. What kind of what kind of mental and emotional torture is she in? But good TV, I guess. I don't know. I go on.
It's sad. All right, my dear. It's just really, really sad. Like I said, it's not too often that I'm left speechless, but I tell you what, a couple of things this morning have left me just. Somebody say after this show I might need a Valium. I don't know what it's gonna take, honey child, but no, sir. What a mess. Wow. I don't even know. Wow. Oh my God. What on earth have we gotten ourselves into? I mean, for real. There are a lot of concerns that these stories bring out. So many issues, and ultimately, it is the people, the children, that will now suffer, because here's a child that is born into a situation where they're not even wanted. I mean, oh my God. You know, it really breaks my heart for the poor children, because I think, but I don't understand how you can be in a relationship with people. See, this is where I think Caribbean people are different. And this is where I'm really glad that I grew up in the States and that I had, you know, an aunt that was a little bit crazy at times, because I grew up understanding the necessity to have certain conversations in relationships. Even before you and I are going to lay down with each other, we need to have a conversation. If this is meant to be a serious relationship, I need to know what you're looking for, what your intentions are, what I'm looking for, what my intentions are. Everybody should be on the same page. If this is just a nutcracker situation and we're all about to just have fun, then everybody should know that. Nobody's going to be catching any feelings. Oh my God. No, sir. Honey child. That's why some of y'all like to talk about, oh, it's just a piece of paper and it doesn't mean anything. But sometimes that piece of paper is what will allow you to see that somebody is actually serious. Because I've always believed this. If somebody can't commit to me, then there's no way under this green earth you're going to be committing to a child, which is a lifelong commitment. Committing to me might not be lifelong. That might be 10, 15, 25 years if we're lucky. But committing to a child is lifelong. So yes, honey child, what did Beyonce say? You better put a ring on it. If you can't commit to a person, then how on earth are you going to be committing to a child? Seriously, Dawn says that's the same reason people don't respect police. Well, it's one of many reasons, I'm sure. The uniformed officers and others, because listen, it's not just police and prison jobs that they get into. You know, they get into all kind of situations. Some of them are lawyers and doctors too. Ooh, this brings to mind a certain doctor so-and-so now that I'm thinking about. Yeah, I got a wife back home in Jamaica, lying to the girlfriend here for years. Oh no, we're not together, we're separated. But all now can't get a divorce. Apparently getting a divorce in Jamaica is the hardest thing in the world when it really isn't. You don't even have to be there to get a divorce. You can just send in paperwork. But these are the excuses that, people come up with when they don't want to do something because something else is happening behind the scenes. And it's an embarrassment because quite honestly, y'all are questioning this woman's intellect. Like, oh, she was stupid because she felt, listen, I have seen smart women, academically smart and kind of world smart, be hoodwinked and fooled by these guys. Oh, he's going for a conference. She calls up the hotel. He's supposed to be at a conference. Oh, no, that conference isn't here. Why would he lie about the location of the conference when he's in Jamaica? Doctor. Because he's at another facility and some woman answering his phone in the hotel room. And I hate to say that my friend was still with him, went back again, left and went back so many times, I've lost count. These men show you their intentions, but a lot of us don't want to believe it. We are so hoodwinked. Are we that desperate? I mean, you think you found a good man. So I guess if he's half decent, maybe you start to compromise on all of these things. Some things you just don't compromise on. And when you know that this is someone who you want to be raising a child with, having children with, whatever, I'm sorry, but you can't be compromising on that. That is when you need to be raising the standards, raising the bar, because this is the foolishness you're exposing your children to. Well, I can't swear for nobody. And God knows I am not about to swear for my husband or anybody else. But I do think I kind of lucked out. He not done nothing yet that I'm aware of. And trust me, I keep my eyes open. You know what? Can I tell y'all something? This is going to sound really crazy. But, this is our experience with Jamaican men. When I first met my husband, we started talking. One of the first questions, I was like, okay, how many children do you have? Because you're Jamaican. So you come with a bag of children. Just be honest up front. He's like, oh, I don't have any kids. What? Hear me now. Are you sure? I don't want nothing popping out of the woodworks. You sure you don't have any children? I began to thought something was wrong with him. I'm like, he don't have any children and he's a Jamaican? You have no wife and no children. And I was always waiting for the WhatsApp alert to come in where some woman gonna be like, oh yes, come and take care of your child. And I've been waiting and waiting, can't find him yet. Lord Jesus. My husband, I have his access code to his phone. How many of y'all can say that about your husbands? Can we get a hallelujah up in here if you can?
Praise the Lord.
When you don't have nothing to hide, here's my phone. Here's the code. Have at it. Read all my messages. He leaves WhatsApp open. Nothing not being hidden around here. Lord Jesus. We need some help. We need some prayer. We need some intervention. But more importantly, we need some serious action. Y'all need to step up to the plate and start raising the bar a little bit. If somebody can't take you to their house, that is the biggest red flag in the world. Yes, I needed to go and see where my husband, boyfriend at the time, was staying. Who you staying with? You claim you're staying with your best friend? Let me see what a best friend look like. And I had to interview the best friend too. Like, oh, who are you? Tell me about yourself. Because the company, your husband, boyfriend, whoever, people you're talking to keep says a lot about them. So if they're hanging out in the bars all the time, hello. They want to run to Honduras and Cuba every weekend. You better be careful. I'm just saying, be mindful, folks. Keep your eyes and ears open. Because oftentimes there are signs that something is amiss. And you're missing the signs because you're being blinded by love or just good sex. Let's be honest. It's not normally love that gets you at first. Anyway. Lord Jesus. Such a sad, sad situation. This person says Caymanian women are nice, but they have a thing for Jamaican men. That's a proper Jamaican. Oh, what a thing. This person says you probably need a Valium or a shot of tequila. Yes, honey child. Another person says, and yes, he can borrow money from the Prison Welfare Association. They have an official loan program. Well, if he got 3 outside children now, he might need to borrow more than just the loan. He might need to try and get some finances in order. Ay. What a hot mess. Yes, sir. I don't know what to tell y'all except what a mess. Okay, man, we have got to do better. I am praying for us to really get it together because the saddest part of all of this is honestly, this story, we sit here and we might have a little laugh and a little chuckle, whatever, and it sounds like one banger, right? And whatever. But these have real world implications. When you have children growing up in this type of crazy situation, this dysfunctionality, don't think that poor little baby, he's only 7-8 months now, but listen, what a life he's going to have because of his father and poor decisions and because the mother, unfortunately, didn't know she was being hoodwinked by this man. Check people out. Go, especially social media, although some of them be hiding on social media too, so you can't always tell based on social media what's going on. But I would encourage you to ask around, look around, right? But they're so smart now. They got these burner phones, child. Like you heard what he said? Oh, I'm going to give you a phone number. You don't got to reach me on this number anymore. I'm going to give you another number. How many burner phones does he have? What would be the necessity of doing that? You understand what I'm saying? Wise up, women. Stop making, and men, because some of y'all men, same thing. Listen, there's a Spanish woman. I would love to see her DMs. She got multiple politicians, multiple wannabe politicians, and politically connected people all checking her. And she has a boyfriend, right? But when the boyfriend can't afford to give her a boob job, she's going to go to a certain Georgetown politician and try to hoodwink him out of it. And when he wouldn't give her the money to get a boob job, she went to someone during the last election who was running against him, sending out pictures of the plantain, of the little scrawny banana, whatever you want to call it, trying to use this against your opponent. Now give me some money because I just gave you something that will help you win. Y'all so sloppy. That is what Cayman is. That is what Cayman has become. No, strictly 345 says he was treating her worse before she got pregnant and had a baby. What she expected a baby could change him. Plus, she knew he was broke, married, etc. They've been together for years. Well, my dear, apparently he told her in the WhatsApp messages that he was married, and she says that she did not know. That there were certain little things, yes, that were red flags, and she probably should have taken those much more serious. Darlene says, make sure he doesn't have 2 or 3 phones hidden that you don't know anything about. Ooh, honey child. Y'all know me already. I'm Detective Hill, detective extraordinaire. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, some of these men are awfully smart and they be trying to hoodwink you, but I've never gotten that type of an indication. And you know what else is important? Let me tell y'all something. Before you go marry somebody, before you have children with them, please meet the family. You hear what I'm telling you? Meet the family and see what kind of craziness or not is in the family, because that will be able to tell you something right there. You might have a fighting chance when you see mama and dad have been together for 45 years. When you see the other brothers have settled down, everybody got a nice wife and kids, and they respect their wives and they're all about family first. That gives you hope that you're not dealing with a shyster. Right? I mean, like I said, they don't come with no guarantees now. Let me see now. There was somebody who was messaging. I feel like I've missed a few messages here that I did want to read. I thought I saw, hold on now, just checking the WhatsApp messages. I thought I saw, oh yes. Someone says, what a sexist pile of crap. Your caller starts off with this rant with a not all men explanation, takes a turn when he starts to objectify women for men, his pleasure. Slut shames women who take pleasure in sex by saying that once a man gets with her, there's an expectation that she changes, and then tries to blame social media and society for something from which he benefits. Misogyny. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, people, let me assure you that the way you found someone, so if you find them in a bar, even Lauder used to tell you this, the way you found someone, you can't take I don't even like to use the word hooker, but some people are legitimately hookers and we all know it. Like they're working for money and that's what they're all about. They come here and that's the real hustle. The side hustle is being a bartender, being a barmaid. And these men know it. They know that, they have multiple men taking a turn, but they believe that their CI dollars is going to be better than the next one. And then once they marry her, she's going to settle down and give them children and be a real mother. It doesn't happen. Take people as you find them. If you found her working in a bar for money, being a sex worker, which is happening right here in the Cayman Islands, don't fool yourselves, then marrying her is not going to necessarily make her stop being a sex worker, because they make good money being a sex worker. And your one little income working public works or NRA or wherever the heck you work in might not make a difference to her. I'm just saying it might not be enough. Because if she getting $1,000 a month from 5 guys, that's $5,000 a month. That's a decent living in the Cayman Islands, no matter how you slice it. Everton says, I'm not trying to beat up on this woman because I don't know her. The signs was always there, but she was too much in love with him and believed that he was telling her she can't even see it, too blind to see. But how many of us have not been there? We've all been in a situation, folks, where we were too blind to see it, right? Even Miss Cayman, Tiffany, every relationship, she's too blind until it ends and then she beats him up. That's what keeps happening. Ms. Carol says, integrity, Sandy, your husband was looking ahead, ensuring that his wife and child or children would be respected. The Bible states that the husband is the covering for his wife. You and your child are well covered. Praise God. Well, any day we find it any differently, it's going to be a problem. But yes. And you know what? Even in my own personal relationship, I got to tell you, you have to appreciate men and women who make sacrifices for their families. There were things, my husband, he doesn't drink, but he would go out and play dominoes with the guys on a Friday night or whatever, hang out with some of his ex-coworkers. They go down by Tortuga. There's a whole group of them there that he knows. They go to beach parties and whatever. And, Once he got married, I always got invited to these things. We'd go and hang out. Once we had a child, he's like, listen, I not got time for that. I'm working. And the little downtime that I have from work is spending time with my family. And he is always there. Listen, relationships may or may not work out. Only God knows. But when it comes to him being a father, I cannot say one bad thing about this man. And thank God, because Gigi is, oh my God, he is her eyeball and he is her eyeball. I mean, the two of them are just ridiculous. If she don't see him, where's dad? And I'm like, oh Lord, he's just in the next room. Here she come looking for him. From day one. It's a good thing that is his stamp child, because he gonna be dragging her for all her life, because she is just in love with daddy and he is in love with her. But seriously, there were things he's like, okay, these people are single. They're living their best life, or maybe they already have kids that are out of, growing up, 15, 16 years old. They're in a different space in their life. They're not going to the birthday parties. He's the one manning up, taking her to play dates, taking her to birthday parties, ensuring that she's going to have a good life, making those types of sacrifices. Family time, he always be killing me because, oh, you're working too hard. You're not giving enough time to that's what he's all about. And I am very, very, very grateful for it, because when I see what's out in these streets, honey child, and when I know what's out in these streets, because like I said, we've all had some degree of experience, it is really, really sad. Wow. Love is blind, says Marshall. Shamsi White says, this is interesting. Well, I don't know how interesting it is, but it is what it is. Gabby says, Aquaman, look at you jointly. Aquaman says, what is father? Gabby says, and know how to make them feel well loved and wanted. They have gone down pack. They have game down pat. Sorry. Miss Alma says, I would not say Cayman women love Jamaican men more. It's just that they take the woman, whether she fat, slim, short, or tall. I think it's a numbers game, Alma. I mean, let's be honest. It is hard to find a good man. And I'm going to start to wrap things up now. It is very, very difficult to find a good man. And at the end of the day, 50% of the population in the Cayman Islands happens to be Jamaicans. So it would make sense, just sheer numbers, that you are more likely to find a Jamaican than anybody else here. Not to say that there aren't other people here. Now, some people like what they like. So some people, they're like, I must have dark chocolate. Don't show me no white chocolate. For me, I don't necessarily, I think I do have a type, but I have definitely stepped out of the type. So my first husband was, blue-eyed, white American, as American as you can possibly get, German descent. You know what I'm saying? But, there are people who, want a Caribbean person, like they can't see themselves with a non-Caribbean person. They're not willing to make that much of a cultural jump. And, it is what it is. So I think it just depends, Alma and others, on what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you're attracted to. And of course, again, if you're running in certain circles, I suppose you're more likely to run into certain types of individuals, right? But, you love who you love. And at the end of the day, I would just encourage all of us to try to find better quality people. They run the gamut. They're good quality Honduran people. They're good quality Caymanians. They're good quality, Americans, British people, everything. Just like there's some that are not good quality in all those categories. It really doesn't make, there are some people, and I think this is more of this isn't necessarily like where they're from, but I can see how people could jump to that conclusion. It's more like their predicament in life. Like, they always are looking to marry up because they're looking for someone who's going to offer them the ability to stay in the Cayman Islands, offer them status, offer them whatever. And folks, that has value for people. Let's be very, very honest. The ability to stay in Cayman, not need a work permit. You can work as a DJ. You can moonlight as a doctor inside. You can have all these other jobs. You can have 4 or 5 jobs and making all this CI cash, whether you're from Jamaica, Honduras, the US, whatever. if you come from a certain financial bracket, that is much more enticing to you than others. So if you're a person of independent means, right? Money in a relationship has nothing to do with why you're interested in that person. You don't need status. You don't need to be able to stay in the Cayman Islands because you got your dollars and whatever. For some people, that is extremely important. How much money or the opportunities that living here present, opportunity to get a house, opportunity to drive a nice car, to get a government job as a prison officer, as a police officer, whatever. And they don't even know how to behave. So they'll pick up anybody. And normally those people don't really care who they pick up. But sometimes, ironically, they pick up really good men and women. Like they really do. Someone who, if they were focused on working well with that person, that they could, make a good living here. And instead they got all these outside children that they got to be paying child support for and screwing out on the spouses and stuff like this. It's a bad look. And ultimately, I want to point you guys back to that Yolanda Ford report. The destruction of the family unit is the same reason why we here in the Cayman Islands are having a lot of the social ills that we're having. Criminality, because of the destruction of the family. And it's people like this gentleman and others who contribute to the destruction of families. You can't go out there and have all the side women that you want or all the side men that you want and having children all over the place, that then when it comes time to feed that poor child, a mother's making $7 an hour, you go turn around and tell her you can't afford it. You should have, if you couldn't afford it, you should have been wearing a condom and not forcing yourself on her without protection. That's what a real man would have done. You wouldn't put yourself in this predicament and think that you can just abort children illegally in this country, I should say. Couldn't even afford to go to Miami or take a trip overseas, giving this woman tablets that are not even intended for that purpose, that could have killed not only the child, but could have killed her as well. That's not what real men and women do. Real men and women take responsibility. Even if you make a poor decision and you cheat on your wife and a child comes along, you own the child and you do right by the child. There's not this back and forth. 1 minute you want DNA. Next minute you don't want DNA. Next minute you're going to support the child. Next minute, oh, I don't have no money. And women, you have an obligation to be smarter than this as well. When you see red flags, you dig deeper. You find out what's really going on here and remove yourself from the situation, because this is what the outcome will be. A poor child, now innocent as it could be, is in all this mix up. How sad is that? Moya says, I think, like you said, there are many Jamaicans in our community, and Caymanians try to stay away from Caymanians because they're afraid that they'll be in the same family tree. Well, the way that the things are going here now, child, even with Jamaicans, you better try and get a DNA and make sure you're not related. Because as you can see, out there having all kind of children that some are not even owning. And then what? Next thing you know, your child got a sibling in school and you don't even know anything about it. Seriously. It's just unbelievable. Final comment. Gabby says, you're right. Cayman already has enough broken homes and fatherless children, right? And we're continuing to create that situation. Everton says, and he go home and sleep with his wife. He doesn't even care. I guarantee you he has a serious problem with his wife right now, unless she's doing something and she doesn't care what he does. And this is the other thing, Everton. Let me address this as well. When you are a woman or a man and you find yourself in this situation, where you have a waste man who's out there doing the most in these streets, why are you staying married to this man and allowing him to remain here in the Cayman Islands? Now he got 3 outside children from what we've heard. How many more are you going to allow him to have, right? If you're not condoning this behavior, before you finally step up to the plate and say, listen, you got to go. You might not have to leave Cayman because you got all these pile of children here now that are your anchor babies, but you're not going to be staying with me. You got to get up out of this house and go. And more importantly than that, you're not going to be showing our 10-year-old son that this is a lifestyle that he should be esteeming to. Because you don't think that little boy watching the movements of his father, he's introducing him to his side women? That little boy is going to think this is normal behavior. And this is what he will aspire to and what he will be doing himself. It's a disgrace. And as a mother, you should not allow this man, and I don't care where he's from, Jamaica, Timbuktu, or the UK, you shouldn't allow him to set this sort of example for your child. Because this is no example to follow. So Everton says there's only two options. Either she doesn't care or she has low self-esteem. Either way, this is no example for a young son who's now going to soon be a teenager. This is how we contribute to the destruction of our own families and by extension to our own communities. Women, we have to step up. If you've been hoodwinked and you find yourself in this predicament, get yourself out of it. Find yourself a good divorce lawyer, honey child, and keep it moving. All right, folks, that's it. I'm out. You guys have an absolutely wonderful day. Trust that, what a shock that y'all make some better decisions. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday, God's willing. 7:30 sharp. Have a safe weekend. Be safe on the roadways. And until then, what a mess.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.